All right, welcome in to a Wednesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet here on this Wednesday as we got a lot to react to. Make sure you hit that like button, share button, comment button. We appreciate you starting your Wednesday here with us as, we had some construction going on over on Government Street yesterday, and the construction crew hit the internet line over here, which has had us scrambling over the last probably since midday yesterday. I think we had some people in here doing some editing and some business, some office type work, and the internet just crapped out. No emails could come and go, and it has been it's been just a big headache over the last couple of hours and production time here last night. Lloyd did a great job of getting hold the rope off the ground last night. Of course, our IT director over here, Joe Rodriguez, deserves a ton of credit for coming through with a couple of hot spots that's got us up and moving here on this Wednesday. So we did have Ross Jackson scheduled to join us at 7:30. He's got a lot going on with the locked on stuff, and yeah, obviously after yesterday's cut down to 53 for New Orleans. We're going to move him when we can get the internet back. I can hear the construction crews outside now, so hopefully they can get this repaired at some point. We are scheduled to talk to Mike Norvell, who is the head coach over at Florida State. He met with the press yesterday for the first time here in game week, but Coach Norvell will be here today at 2 o'clock. So straight up 2 o'clock, if you want to set your alerts, if you have become a subscriber. We've seen our numbers really start to jump here over the last couple of weeks since football season's on the horizon. So if you're new here and you just subscribed, make sure and hit that bell, that alert button, which will notify you every time we go live. And we're always going to be live 7 to 9 a.m. At some point, 7:03, 7:04, somewhere around 7 o'clock. But we will get every morning. We will be on the Jordy Culotta Show YouTube station, but at certain points, at certain times, we might be live at different times. And Wednesdays, of course, we have our recruiting hour with Shay Dixon, who will be through here at some point today. And then, of course, like Mike Norvell stopping by this afternoon, and hopefully we can get all of the bugs worked out. And it's nothing internally here. We've got all of our stuff.
Yes. Taken
care of. Construction crew, zip code over here, dealing without internet this morning.
As much as I'd be able to love to take credit for this one,
yes.
This is way above my pay grade in terms of I can't fix the internet. I think that's a higher power that we're waiting on.
So we will talk to Jacques Doucet coming up here at 8 a.m. He'll be in studio with us, and we will obviously talk a lot about what's going on with LSU and gearing up for game week, and Tigers and Seminoles set to kick off on Sunday evening inside the Dome, and things all really trending towards that. We saw Coach Brian Kelly have a discussion with Emily Dixon from LSU yesterday, talking about some of the things that they're working on here in game week. Coach Kelly named captains yesterday, which I thought going into the season, which was a really cool announcement. And the three captains that Coach Kelly announced yesterday for LSU football is a couple of seniors in Mike Jones Jr. and Allie Gay, and a junior, B.J. Ojulari, who you know, obviously, who is one of our favorites. He's had a long relationship with our show. We signed him to an NIL deal last year when we got out and got moving independently, and he spent a lot of time through the offseason here in the studio, so it's really good to see good news happening for B.J. Ojulari. He also was speaking a little bit yesterday and said that the team has not been notified who the starting quarterback is. And first off, I believe B.J. on this, because the more that you think about it, I think that Brian Kelly, as he described it, right, being a tactical advantage is how he termed it. It would probably be not too smart to announce that to a room of, 100 18 to 22-year-olds that all have phones in their pockets or in their lockers that can tell, a brother or a sister, an aunt, an uncle, somebody. It may not be, B.J. Ojulari or, Kayshawn, but somebody within that locker room that's, not playing. Uncle's an LSU diehard, just wants to put it out. Hey, man, just got word that Jaden Daniels is going to be the starting quarterback on Saturday night, and he starts to tell, we've seen this, man. I mean, it's the it's the Paul Revere special, right? I mean, this word can travel fast, rapidly. Next thing you know, it's on Tiger droppings. Next thing you know, it's out in the public. Next thing you know, we're talking about it on these platforms, and it's out there. And if Brian Kelly truly is holding it for a tactical advantage, I believe that he probably hadn't told the entire team yet. I'm sure that there are people on the team that know.
At least two,
right? And maybe some wide receivers and running backs and offensive line. I mean, I think those discussions are happening, and BJ might have a clue, but I think this is one of the reasons why you named BJ the captain, is because you trust him that he's always going to be protecting the team even when he speaks publicly, right? Like, I mean, he knows that, yeah, he could probably say, yeah, I know, and that open up some curiosities of, people out there and maybe needle him and keep asking him some follow-ups of who it is, or he could just say, I got no idea who it is. Next question. And, it becomes almost a dead topic. And Brian Kelly is able to keep his, tactical advantage as he has termed this, and what he's looking to gain out of, not putting out into the public who his guy is. Congratulations to Mike Jones Jr., who has had a tremendous impact on the program in just a very short time of him being here, right? I mean, just a couple of years on campus, and he has now, represented LSU at Media Day. He's been named a captain. In his second season, he was up and debated on whether or not he was going to wear number 18. That ended up going to B.J. Ojulari, but he was in the discussion of a possibility of him being the guy. So Mike Jones has had a just tremendous impact on the program in a very short time and a very limited time on the field, right? I mean, in the second half of the season was really when Jones kind of started to take off last season, when the defense was changed, and they went from a 3-4 to a 4-3, and they put Mike Jones out there and was able to let him start running in space and start moving around, and it really started to pay off. And Jones showed what type of player he was, but he's always been a great representative of LSU football, and now to see him as a captain is really cool. So LSU still gearing up, obviously, here in game week for Florida State on Saturday night. Mike Norvell was speaking to the press yesterday, and he announced that Florida State linebacker Amari Gaynor will be out for Sunday's game versus LSU after he suffered a leg injury last week versus Duquesne. Gaynor entered the season as Florida State's career leader in tackles. He was a reserve on Saturday, but figured to be heavy in the rotation coming up this season. So Florida State dealing with a key injury here going into Sunday night. And as we said, we will talk to Mike Norvell this afternoon here on the Jordy Culotta Show. So if you want to set that alert for 2 o'clock this afternoon. But looking forward to talking to him about, the feeling of playing and already having a game out that LSU can evaluate, and the uncertainty of what LSU is going to do on Sunday, how much that overloads his preparation. We talked a little bit about it yesterday, but I really agree with Brian Kelly, keeping this close going into this game. It's not as if he's going to be able to do this every single week. I think once he shows his hand on Sunday, you'll get a feeling of how LSU, or at least wants to play, right? If they play both guys, if they stick to one guy, if they have some type of rotation that they have kind of thought out before they go into game one and start to implement that, you'll kind of get an idea of what to scout towards in the future. At this point, if you're scouting LSU, you got no idea. You got no idea whether or not he's going to start Daniels, whether he's going to start Nussmeier, or, what the scheme's going to look like. So you got to pull up Mike Denbrock film at Cincinnati. You got to pull up Brian Kelly film at Notre Dame. You got to search Jaden Daniels film at Arizona State. You got to pull up, Nussmeier last year playing for LSU. You got to bring up Joe Sloan, I'm sure, at Louisiana Tech, just to kind of get an idea of the thought behind him in that position. So, I mean, it's a lot of work for Norvell and his staff that Kelly, just by not saying anything, has kind of dumped on Norvell's desk. We'll ask him. I'll ask him about that coming up this afternoon, of just kind of how you wade through that stuff of trying to find a game plan that you really trust taking into Sunday night. Also, we'll ask him what he thinks about that matchup of his offensive line versus LSU's ferocious defensive line, where I believe that is where the game is really going to be tilted. LSU's ability to dominate the line of scrimmage on that side of the ball, I think, is really going to be the ultimate difference maker in the outcome of the game. Sure, there's going to be things all over that, we're going to show up wanting to see what the quarterback rotation feels like, what the running back looks like with Noah Cain and Armani Goodwin and, Josh Williams back there, or the big playmakers on the outside, the speed, the concept of what they use on offense, right? But, overall, you want to just kind of get a feel for who they are. And the LSU defensive front, to me, is going to be as steady, consistent, and as tough a matchup that Florida State's going to have on the night. And we'll ask Coach Norvell what he's kind of seen from that here early on. No? I thought you were looking at me like
no. I'm just trying to get back into the conversation after.
How is it over there? How is it over there?
I think we're okay. Okay, it would buffered a little bit in and out, but it seems like we're bare bonesing. I'm stripping things as you were talking of. There's no lower third today.
Yeah.
So we had to get rid of some of the graphics, all that kind of stuff that makes it sexy. You're just getting good old missionary today.
Yeah, well,
keep your day moving.
The fact that we're bringing it to you is a win for us. So, like we said, we had construction crew hit a line around here the other day, which yesterday in the middle of the day, which is kind of set us back as far as our internet goes. But we were able to hold the rope off the ground last night, which looked like a great production.
A few less elements than hold the rope, so I think we've got moving graphics on this one and all sorts of little doodads. So had to strip her, but hopefully when the internet comes back, all these things. This will not be a file that we save.
No, that's all good though.
Yeah.
Just get it off the ground.
That's
and
right.
Jacques going to be here at 8 a.m. and we'll talk there. Before
Tell
we
him to bring a live view pack, it'll be all good.
Yeah, before we talk to Jacques, and we'll talk more about LSU. Huge story in the NFL yesterday down here in New Orleans that really got everybody moving. And remember, Daily, we're brought to you by Go Chevrolet, online, GEAUX, Chevrolet.com. And our phone line sponsor is Metropolitan Health Group. Real doctors, real solutions. Jason Ramazan, Charlie Harvey, the entire crew over there. Shout out to Metropolitan Health Group for everything they do for our show and supporting us since day one. And also shout out to the Dirty Boot Sports Boys up in North Louisiana. They're in Jonesboro, Louisiana. Jumped on their podcast last night, man. They got a cool setup up there in their studio, and they got a cool thing going on. Check them out on social media at Dirty Boot Sports for more. They're up in North Louisiana, and they got a great product up there. Love LSU, love sports, and it was cool to hang out with them last night. We talked a little bit with the crew last night over on Dirty Boot Sports about the move yesterday of the Saints trading Chauncey Gardner-Johnson to the Philadelphia Eagles. This that jump out to me, and the first of it is that you can never lose sight that the NFL is strictly business first, right? I mean, this is a total business move that the Saints made, and for, I think, the fan base's sake, the Saints are very good and, kind of cold-hearted at this stuff. They have no problem getting of a fan favorite, somebody that means so much to the organization a year early rather than a year late. Like, they have always kind of been in front of, getting the roster maintained with, sentimental stories, fan favorites. And Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, for what he brought to the locker room and to the roster every day, was that. I mean, he was one of the most popular players on the Saints roster, which is saying something. When you got guys that are in that locker room like Alvin Kamara and Cam, got a reputation to them. For Chauncey Gardner-Johnson to go into that locker room and make the impact that he did, as sudden as he did, was really kind of cool to see. And then, the way that it kind of played out on the field with the way that he would kind of, talk trash and, obviously the stuff with him and Brady stick out. But the thing that really, from the trash talking stuff with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, that's always kind of, hit home, or not hit home, but just kind of like hit me was like what he did to Mike Thomas. You know what I mean? Like, it was one thing to chase down Tom Brady after an interception, get in his face and, kind of bark at him a little bit. That was a cool moment, right? And I think that's a moment that, we'll have kind of built up of Chauncey Gardner-Johnson for a long time as a Saints fan. But what happened behind the closed walls of the locker room is the stuff that I really wanted to see between him and Thomas. Something they got into they obviously got into a fight, and Thomas was the one that got suspended. Usually this is at Thomas's height of fame. His game is on top of the league at this point. He's a top 3 wide receiver in the league when this goes down, if not number 1. And the Saints sided with Johnson during that time, which I think surprised a lot of people, because it's very rare that a franchise, even if the superstar is wrong, to publicly side somewhere else, right? And I thought, immediately, they love this guy. Like, the first thing I thought was, they love this guy. Now that, everything's shaken out, you can tell that there was something between Sean Payton and Mike Thomas that just didn't add up. They were on they were on different pages, but that always kind of jumped out to me about Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Another thing that jumped out to me was the moves that the Saints made in the offseason to firm up their defensive backfield. Whether it was drafting Taylor out of Tennessee or picking up guys like Daniel Sorensen or Justin Evans, who made the team yesterday. Evans' story is crazy. Have you heard this guy? Justin, I don't want to get off the lead story here. I want to get back to Johnson.
No.
But Justin Evans has been out of football for 3 years. Achilles injuries, 27 years old. Hadn't played football in 3 years. Comes back, 27, makes a comeback, gets on the field, stays healthy, and makes an NFL 53-man roster. And not only a 53-man roster in the league, make the Saints roster, which is, one of the best in the NFL. But they were making moves in the defensive backfield to get out in front of this. Right. I thought that it just kind of like looking at what they were doing, that they were anticipating Johnson not being back in 2023, because as training camp began here, it's the hold in with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was not a good, it was not a good feel. It was not a good look. Then there were reports after Johnson came back to the field that he got nicked up in practice one day after negotiations had kind of fallen through, and he made a comment, "This is what y'all wanted." You can tell that each side was kind of they were at each other's crawl, man. They were at each other's neck. They were going at each other, and that things just weren't adding up for Johnson. And then some of the things from a not character standpoint, but I think some of the things from a not character standpoint, but I think more of like an attitude standpoint in the locker room. I think that's one of the things that the Saints have always really tried to control was, the players and the attitudes and the energy of the locker room. And it probably got to a point with a player like Johnson where it became too contentious and it was just going to boil over.
Right, because everything that makes CJGJ great is also going to be can also come to a detriment at some point for your team, right? Like you want everything that he brings to the football field, passion, like a little arrogance, definitely carries himself and kind of embodied what the new age Saints felt like whenever it's like the changing of the guard from Drew Brees to, I guess you could say Jameis Winston, but more so Dennis Allen and a defensive-led team. It felt like CJGJ and Demario Davis, like they were the face of what Saints football was going to look like for the next couple of years with like, we're going to be in your face, brash, nasty, cocky, but that's what you're going to get every time we play on Sunday. If you take all of that, somebody like Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who wears it on his sleeve, and that's what you love about him. But then whenever you get into a negotiation with him, like if you're the enemy, he's going to do the same thing to you. Like I could see it boiling over to a point where we don't really need him here if he's going to be like this. Like obviously we don't have a way to move the money around for next year, or he's going to be contentious all year. And so, if he thinks the team's out to get him, like wants him to get hurt so they can sign him on a team-friendly deal later, that doesn't help anybody in the locker room.
Yeah, I think
you don't need that message in there. So it's like, all right, fine. If you're going to act like this, like we'll be shrewd as we can be. Like you kind of embodied what the Saints were going to look like, fan favorite in a city where it's like if you do it right quick, they'll wrap your arms around you and you're a Saint forever. But it got to a point where it seems like this. Obviously, we're on two separate ends of the negotiating table. We might as well trade you now, get a 5th rounder, and maybe like a 6th rounder, depending on something else, like some contingency pick. But I mean, they got something for it instead of nothing. Essentially, because in my mind, they weren't going to re-sign him.
No,
they were too far away.
They were too far away. I think the number that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was asking for was somewhere around $12 million a year, and I think the Saints were somewhere around $7.5–8 million a year. So I mean, they were like $4.5 million off.
Yeah, it's not like find it in the ashtray.
Yeah, right.
Money.
I mean, it wasn't, and there was no budge on each side. And like we said, I mean, if you look at the Saints roster, and the Saints are almost a model franchise for maintaining the roster, right? Like being able to keep up and just how competitive they are every year in building the roster. And I think when you look at their secondary, man, I mean, that might be their most talented group, right? I mean, like the moves they made in the offseason with Marcus May and Tyrann Mathieu are great, right? I mean, Paulson Adebo was the story of training camp, or at least the first part of it. You got Marshawn Lattimore at the other cornerback spot. But then after that, I mean, you lose Chauncey Gardner-Johnson yesterday, who was a real solid piece for you in the nickel and giving you some depth. But, I mean, think about Bradley Roby, P.J. Williams. We mentioned they drafted Alontae Taylor out of Tennessee, Justin Evans. I mean, his story, again, is incredible. But he made plays in training camp. He made plays when he had opportunities. He made it I watched Hard Knocks. I woke up I couldn't sleep last night. Woke up like,
huh? You want to come up here and dig up some lines?
I was trying to, man. I've been up since like 2 o'clock this morning, and I watched.
Yeah. What time
brutal.
did you go to bed?
9:30.
Sometimes when you go to bed that early, you can pop up in the morning before and say, "Oh,
Joey."
Not the internet. That's why I have it on loud. But whenever you go to bed at like 9 and you wake up at like 2:30 in the morning, 3, you're like, damn, I feel like I've gotten all the sleep I can get. Like you almost feel well rested, but then you realize you have 5 hours until like there's normal people awake, and it kind of throws the whole day into like I've been at this for a while.
Yeah, and then I came up here early and there was no internet, so it's like a dead ship. I've been working on my hotspot.
You just sit in the dark in his office,
and then just going, and then I hit the bike ride. But on Hard Knocks, like Dan Campbell says to the room going into the final preseason game, make it hard on us, make it difficult on us, make these decisions, because I mean, there's only like 5 or 6 spots up for grabs at that point for a team like Detroit. I'd imagine for a team like New Orleans, it's probably even less.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like when you look up and see a guy named Lewis Kidd make the Saints out of Montana State as an offensive lineman, I mean, it shows you really kind of how thorough the scouting department is for New Orleans, that they're able to hit on these late-round undrafted guys so often. I mean, that's not an accident. You know what I mean? Like, that just doesn't happen to teams.
If it happens this consistently, it's not a trend. It's like this is part of what the Saints do.
And, I mean, they're incredible at being able to build and maintain a roster when the league is built on trying to push and develop parity. I mean, that's what the league rules and standards of salary cap and free agency and the open market of trade is built to make parity in the league. And the Saints, in a parity-driven league, have, always been, over the last 15 years, even through, some of the down seasons, they were able to bounce back because they've always just had talent. I mean, they've always had really good players in key spots, and the defensive backfield, I think, is a great example of that, and why you can deal Chauncey Gardner-Johnson a year earlier than you probably planned to.
And that's what I was going to ask you is,
they weren't planning on trading him next year. I don't think they planned on re-signing.
There's a window there where it makes sense, but I was more on the team of, let's see if you can keep him in the building. It must have been contentious in the building.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you ride this out for a year, right, where you feel like you have a bona fide, slot nickel starter that has caused chaos, is a big part of what you kind of want the culture to be in New Orleans when he's right, and that helps you make a late playoff run, Super Bowl push. If you get rid of CJ, it's more of okay, they weren't all in. There's some people that could maybe make that connection to where it's especially you trade him inside he's on the same side of the NFC where you go to the Eagles, and it's not like you got rid of him, you're going to have to see him again. So if you're a Saints fan, there's parts of you where maybe they're not all in on this ride for a Super Bowl, but I could see where it was, this is actually making our team worse than better right now.
Well, I mean, the Saints, they are also, who plays to win in the moment more than the Saints?
Right. They shove their chips in all the time.
All the time. They always go all in. And, this particular move is not great for the moment. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just not great for the immediate of the team. But it's also, I trust Mickey Loomis, Saints brass, that they're able to find the chemistry in the locker room. And I don't care how talented you are. Saints have had some really good talented teams. I think guys like Junior Galette have screwed that up.
He's suing the Saints.
I mean, I think he's suing the league.
Oh, he's suing the whole league, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but, he was great. He just was a cancer. I mean, you couldn't get the locker room going because of him. And I'm not by any means comparing Chauncey Gardner-Johnson to Junior Galette.
No,
I'm just saying when you've got somebody in there that's worried about themselves more than they are the team, and by all accounts, Gardner-Johnson was pissed that they couldn't get a deal done a couple of weeks ago, and it was going to, potentially haunt the Saints locker room throughout the season. Man, I'm with it. I think that you've got to have that part figured out to win at the highest level.
Do you think the same move happens if Sean Payton's the coach, or is it Dennis Allen, defensive side of the ball, sees him a lot and was, all right, this is another chance for me to kind of establish the culture I want? Because, like I keep saying, Chauncey was a big part of kind of what the Saints were building their image off of. And I still think that this is a carryover of Sean Payton's leadership. I still think that – because they're definitely doing it two different ways now.
No, they are. They are doing things differently, but there are still some things that are the same, and I think that even Loomis learned from Peyton, because Peyton brought this over from Bill Parcells. If you read his book, I mean, that's the line that Parcells told Peyton: cut a superstar a year earlier than later. He told him that, do not get emotionally tied to these guys. Don't feel like you got to hang on. And I know that he did that with Breeze.
Campbell.
I know that he did that with Breeze.
Yeah.
Right, but. Breeze is the outlier. I guess.
It's the one that hurts you the most.
And I guess, if you look back on it, he could have had Brady. If he would have just told Breeze, sorry, man, you're just.
It's a business.
Because I think at one point, Peyton and Breeze walked into Peyton's locker room before 2020 or 2019 and was like, I'm done. I'm retiring. Yeah, I'm not coming back. And then the Brady rumors started to boil, and Breeze was like,
"It's my wife."
Yeah. No way, man.
What do you think the public perception of the Saints, or not even the Saints, of, I guess, more of the perception within New Orleans if that had happened? Because the fans would have bucked back a little bit because of their love for Drew Brees.
I do not. I'm coming at it from a different angle.
Well, I know, obviously.
But I think you probably would have won a Super Bowl.
That would have been one of the shrewdest moves in NFL history.
Ever. ever.
It's hard to put a stamp on that.
That would have
I'm
been
not good.
that would have been the shrewdest move that I think.
Whisk away the guy that brought, like, just because
Not
of all
whisk
the
him away,
narrative.
just like, hey man, you're not welcome back.
Right, give me
You know
your
what
key
I mean?
card.
Yeah, like you can
Actually hand that off to Tom.
you can hold a clipboard if you want.
Yeah. And he wasn't going to do that.
I don't know, man. That would have been, but you would probably still have Peyton and Brees.
You had Peyton and Brady.
I mean, I'm sorry, Peyton and Brady.
Right.
Yeah.
Feeling real good.
Oh, would you be feeling great? I mean, you kidding? All right, make sure and hit that like button, that share button, that comment button. Look, I know that that's a tough move, losing Gardner Johnson. I know that it sucks because of the immediate. But I trust the Saints front office to make moves like this, and I think that the Saints are very well equipped. They're so well equipped to handle it. I mean, they're spot in particular. I mean, whether it's Bradley Roby, whether it's Justin Evans, whether it's P.J. Williams. I mean, they got players. I mean, they've done such a great job of building the roster, scouting, and getting guys in that you can make a move like this that on 75% of the teams in the league, this would be unrecoverable for a defense. Saints might not lose a step. You know what I mean? As crazy as that is to say, that I believe that. I mean, that they probably are going to keep up the pace of this defense because of guys like Justin Evans. I mean, even Jeff Duncan did point out, I mean, for as much as Brady and Gardner Johnson went back at one another, I mean, Brady ripped his ass up in one. I mean, like went at him like 9 straight times with who's their big wide receiver? Not Mike Evans, the other one. Tampa Bay, not Mike Evans. It'll come
Brown.
to me. No. Marquise
Goodwin.
Is it Godwin.
I don't think he's there anymore.
Godwin. But Godwin and Brady, I mean, ripped. So there were holes in the game. I mean, as much as
he was a good player though.
Oh, dude, I'm not trying to.
I'm just saying.
I'm not trying to dump on him. I'm just more trying to say that the Saints are they for losing a good player. They're one of the only teams in the league that can be okay. They can still compete.
DA said as much. He was like, the reason that it should show you how we feel about that room in our defensive backs room if we're comfortable making this move. And that's pretty much where he left it. He was like, we feel like we're good on that end. Like we don't feel like we lost anything, is essentially what he was saying by saying, if we want to make a move to give away somebody that's probably a Pro Bowler, I would say. Like fringe Pro Bowler, if you take those things like an actual Pro Bowler, not the weird ones.
Yeah, the popularity.
Yeah, exactly. Like you gave him away for essentially nothing. Like a 5th rounder when if you did this on the open market whenever he was signed already, like that would have been another move too, where you almost go the Garoppolo route, where you sign him to a 1-year deal or a 2-year deal, and then you're like, all right, does anybody want him now? Like now you have to take on this contract. Now there's a vested interest, as opposed to we can get pennies on the dollar for him. Let's still get him out of here. Because what they did with the Niners did with Garoppolo was genius.
It was.
Being able to sign him for 1 year because they know Seattle was just waiting.
And then they signed him for less money than Trey Lance, so there's not a locker room.
Yeah, there's some escalators in Jimmy G's contract that make it interesting, but they just did that so they didn't have to give a quarterback within their division to Seattle, because Seattle was just waiting for them to either release him or trade him. And they're like, no, we're just going to sign him again. And then it's like, okay, now we're stuck with Drew Lock and Geno Smith.
Oh.
And now we're tanking.
Make sure you're scouting college football quarterbacks because you're going to have the number 1 pick in the draft.
Caesars, if you're listening.
Seattle, yes.
I think the over-under is 65.5. 6.5. We'll go ahead and hop on that under. It seems
Seattle?
Yeah.
That's stealing.
I think so, too. I just don't know how you find 7 wins with Geno Smith.
I mean, it's just such a quarterback league.
Right?
I mean, it's like...
Pete Carroll's out there playing quarterback.
NFL has become Major League Baseball when you look at it from a gambling standpoint. It's who's your quarterback? Who's your pitcher? You know what I mean? Like, who's pitching tonight? Who's the quarterback? I mean, if I'm betting Geno Smith versus, I mean, hell, even
Russell
in that division, Trey Lance. I don't even know anything about Trey Lance.
But I know enough about Geno.
10 out of 10 times I'm taking Trey Lance.
So that would have been a route for the Saints to maybe go and kind of lock him up but I think he wanted the bag. This is his second, would have been his second contract. This is kind of when you go after the money a little bit if you're a DB, because career's not long.
Yeah. For sure, man. Remember, Daily, we are brought to you by our friends over at Edward Jones, Daniel Newman, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. Get in touch with Newman this morning by emailing him, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com, to keep up with what's going on over at Edward Jones. If you are curious about some financial decisions that you have coming up, if you're worried about moving some money around, if you're thinking about investment strategy, let Daniel Newman and the great team over at Edward Jones give you some right pointers over there. Easy to get in touch with him. Email him today, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. We will take a quick break, come back here with more of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Remember, Jacques Doucet of WAFB is going to be in studio with us coming up here at 8 a.m. this morning. We'll return the conversation back to LSU football, getting geared up for Florida State and LSU on Sunday night. Come back with us. Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
Hey, Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
We've seen the BK takeover stuff from LSU and social media, and really in his short time in Baton Rouge, there's been a lot of people embracing his approach to building this roster. What's it like to recruit alongside him?
Oh, it's been great. Coach has been awesome to me because he lets me be myself when it comes to recruiting and when it comes to coaching. He lets his coaches coach. He lets his coaches recruit. So I have no complaints on that end. And when I need him to get in touch with a kid, he's there for me. The communication line has been great. He's just been nothing but supportive.
Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz. I was embarrassed about my smile. Are you unhappy at yours? Do you not smile back at yourself? I called my friend, Dr. Spillers, over at Johnson Spillers. He fixed my smile, and now everywhere I go, people are complimenting it after the work that Dr. Spillers and the staff did to my mouth. They can do it to yours. Get in touch with them. JohnsonSpillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easy to find them, JohnsonSpillers.com. Southern Eye Centers, located at 6859 Jefferson Highway right here in Baton Rouge, has been serving your eyes for over 40 years in the capital region. They offer friendly service in a helpful environment with the highest level of personal care to manage your eye health and vision needs. If you want more information, log online to southerneyecenters.com. That is southerneyecenters.com. Stop in and check out their beautiful office located on Jefferson Highway right here in the capital city. And remember, each time you walk in there and you mention the Jordy Culotta Show, Dr. Ann Shaw and Southern Eye Centers will take 25% off of their fantastic selection of sunglasses. All you got to do is mention the Jordy Culotta Show. Check them out, southerneyecenters.com, and located at 6859 Jefferson Highway.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Thanks.
And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
Do you suffer from chronic dehydration? Are you looking to improve your athletic performance and you need to get over and see our friends over at GoFlow IV? They're located on Jefferson Highway. Easy to find them online at GEAUXFlowIV.com. Make sure and use the promo code Jordy Culotta Show. If you do, they'll take 15% off of your initial visit. Check them out online, GEAUXFlowIV.com. All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered as always by our friends over at
It's like a noodle show.
Go Chevrolet. Yeah, it is kind of a little throwback show. And we got to do the throwback show because some construction company.
Do we know where it happened?
It looked like it happened like right here, like a couple of blocks down the street right here. Because when I was yesterday afternoon, when I was just kind of learning of this, I mean, there was like construction crews going wild. Like city construction. You know, like people were like,
Something happened.
Something's going on under the road. They hit a line and screwed a lot of stuff up.
Is that, what is it, 811? 811, call before you dig?
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out. No free shout outs, but
so,
there you go.
Yeah.
Somebody should have done it.
But it has screwed up our internet. And one thing about digital media is that you are a prisoner to the internet. So if the internet sucks, show's going to suck.
And there's no real way around it.
No, it's not. There's not. Because yesterday was one of those times where, like, the internet was telling you that you have no access to it. And that's one of those, like, brick walls that you're like, I don't know how to get around this thing.
Yeah, it's
like,
not. It's,
I mean, like, emails not going out, not coming in, not receiving text. The TVs don't work. The internet's down. I mean, like, you realize real quick
this could all
how
be a real
dependent,
shit life. Yeah.
Like, just in a snap.
Bring it back.
I mean, it's over. You know, like, whoa, what happened?
You're such a prisoner to it, and then you have no idea how to fix it. Like,
No.
it's if you want to take down America, or at least like a good chunk of it, go ahead and snip the internet for everybody, and everybody's like, oh, I guess we don't have that anymore because I don't know how to fix it. It's not even the like network diagnostics check that everybody sees. It's like you have no IP address, and it's like, okay, so we're starting from zero.
No, it's brutal, bro.
Which is like, I don't know how to fix that.
Hunter Fournette, let's go egg the construction site. I'm in. I'm definitely in.
Yeah, I just was wondering what they were doing. If
Well,
something was being built?
I guess. I mean, they were digging. So, I mean, I don't know. But we're screwed.
Still digging.
And, I mean, we're going in about 12 hours here. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was hoping that this would be a quick fix. I knew Skip and Cano last night were going to be
A little dicey.
Yeah, they're going to be a little dicey. But, I mean, I thought for sure we could be up back and operating for
this morning
for this show.
But I guess I would imagine it rained a little bit.
Oh,
it's it's 7 o'clock. What are we doing here? Do I care if these people have internet? No.
That's true.
So you might get something. I think Mike Norvell's probably in jeopardy because that's when they're going to start working on it. It's probably around like 2, 12. Get out there, stretch, eat a sandwich, smoke a cigarette, Diet Coke,
cigs.
A lot of cigs.
City workers.
Yeah.
The worst. I mean, they had a pack of city workers on the corner of near our office the other day, where I mean everyone. It took 6 of them. It looked like they had 6 of them where they were trying to fill in one of the potholes on Government Street. One of them's holding a clipboard.
Duh.
The other one is smoking cigs, sitting down, kind of the half knee. Not yet that I've given up on the site, but I'm looking to sit down.
Where's the cooler?
Absolutely. I'm looking for a tree and a stump.
And then then you knock the construction hat back a little bit.
Absolutely.
It's not all the way on the head. It's just resting on the crown of the head.
Right. Shoulders shrugged. 3-day no shave.
Little vest.
Got the depression look in the eye. Hate life. Giving up on it. Don't care that you see that
me.
either. Right. Like have no pride to kind of like zip it up, stand up straight, and kind of like put on for the city. Like
dig deep for the
put
fourth
on
quarter.
For the taxpayer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Make them believe
I
you
do this
care.
for you.
Yeah, right. Make them believe you give a damn.
No
right?
way.
No chance. Truck door open. You know what I mean? Leg up in the door.
Clipboard.
Just going through
iPad
social media.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just IG models of the morning.
That's the role you want to get. That's what everybody's striving for, right? Is if you can just get to supervisor. Then you're like, this was all worth it.
Now you're talking about tenure.
Yeah.
Now you're talking about pension.
You got the AC in the truck.
Now now you're talking about can show up on the job site. Don't have to look for a place to lay down, boys. I can just go to the truck.
Pop it in the truck.
I can just roll to the truck. Nobody's holding us accountable. Old Sharon Weston Broom, she's traveling. She's somewhere. She don't care.
Our boy Eric's getting beat up in New Orleans. You got to take care of that. Whatever happened there. But whenever.
Great spot for him on TV, though.
Oh yeah, it was. It was kind of like a.
Did he say Latoya told us to take our own trash out?
Yeah.
He said, we can sign this petition. Maybe we will, Latoya.
I mean, he was made for that moment.
Yeah, he was.
Like for the.
He was.
Like, this is my chance to get back at the city. But I guess if you're be back on the city worker, there's no way anybody likes the supervisor, though, right?
No, just envious. Just envious of it.
Because they show up like an hour in. They're like, what have we gotten done today? And you're like, oh, we're kind of waiting for you to get here to start. And it's like, well, that's not how this goes. Like, you're supposed to come check the site, not come make sure you're working.
Grady writes in, if it's fiber optics, you guys are screwed.
It is.
Fiber optic is not a quick, easy fix. Thank you, Grady. So how long are we talking? If you had to, if you had the city working A team on it,
which we just laid out for you,
right? Which I think we just described. If we had the Alabama football version of the Baton Rouge City Worker, how long would it take to get our fiber optics back up and running? If it was, is that a city? Because if they hit a city line, it's AT&T. I don't know. Should I just switch over to the other provider to get it up and moving?
Well, that's where my bigger question is. What did they hit? Is it just AT&T, or is this like where all of the
the only thing that we're missing in this building is internet.
Right.
Right? And I mean it looked like it happened.
So is it
on
AT&T?
our grid,
yeah.
in the zip code. I mean, I was just able to confirm that it wasn't us yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, I was just making sure that the internet power was not down because of anything that was going on in this building. Right? Grady says, guys, if you've never been on a construction site, you don't know the red tape it takes just to dig a hole. Well, whoever dug the hole yesterday on the construction site, Grady, didn't go through enough red tape because they clipped the line, and next thing you know, half the grid's out of the internet.
Have we talked to anybody around us?
Grady, you might have 6 guys standing around waiting for a hole to get sniffed.
Yeah. That's what it is.
It really is.
And they make a little progress. It's like lunch, right, boys? Yeah.
Hunter Fournette, my dad builds fences, and sometimes 811 is off by a few feet. Could have been that. Wow.
Ooh.
What a number to be off on.
I mean, that's your whole day.
George the Greek says 10 days. 10 days ain't going to cut it, George.
I'm telling you, our fix is to go. We got to have to. The WAFB partnership is about to pay off here. We got to get one of those packs that they brought over for the first show you did. For that first interview.
The way that it was explained to me is that all of those packs are programmed to their.
Yeah, they pull off of AT&T.
You can't just run up on some place and be like, "Hey, I want to go live on the Culotta show." Well, we got this live pack here. We can just do that. Yeah, because that's how I ran up in there. Like, hey, we need 3 of those packs.
Yeah, let me grab.
They're like, yo,
it just works, right?
Sit down.
Yeah, but to learn you something.
Right. You'll get no packs and like it, and here's why.
You can go live on WAFB.
Joe, what do you mean, man? I thought when I was coming over here, I got access to all this equipment. Like, I'm going to need 3 cameramen, a producer, and a live pack for us at the show. Like, nah, man. Just send us the content, you little prick.
Actually, we're using you.
All right,
okay, I got it. Cool. I think we could do I think it's just an RTMP stream. We could coagulate from that thing. You just make your own.
But if we're down 10 days, we would need to use their digital studio.
Go back to my house.
We can go back to the Noodle, bro.
We can go back to the Noodle.
Or the Oodle.
Oodle.
Udio. Hunter Fournette, Wi-Fi is working right down the road in Exxon. You're damn right it's working in Exxon, Hunter.
Has to.
I mean, they've probably got their own grid over there. And they don't let city workers on there with excavators, I can promise you that. I mean, talk about an afternoon screwed.
Dude, and if you want to be able to
cigarette smoking, big gulp drinking,
2-timing,
guy that don't give a damn, key to that excavator over there with a city decal on the side and a hard hat. Next thing you know, the whole grid's out of internet.
And he went home and he was like, "Oh, great day at work. Don't care." I mean, you can't take that stuff home with you. You knock out everybody's internet.
No.
Like he's like, "I don't even know what the fuck I did."
No.
Like, yeah.
I was somewhere off government today.
Yeah. Wait, what?
I don't even know where I was.
Oh, man, I love the Culotta show. I did on this morning.
Yeah, right.
What'd I do?
They're talking about city workers on here.
It's a great episode.
Did somebody clip a line? Yeah, that was you dumbass.
And 18 natty lights before you hopped in the excavator.
Good God.
Good for them.
No internet.
Still, we're hot spotting. How's it look? Somebody said it looked like we were underwater.
What? I can't tell anything.
Really?
Oh no, I'm talking about. We didn't know if you saw the show. Like,
Yeah, I did.
oh, you were watching?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Hey, all right.
What do you mean? You think I'm not watching?
I'm flying blind over here because I can't use the internet for the. I can only do it to set up the stream, so I can't check the chat.
Numbers are down. We're gonna blame it on the city.
Yeah, the numbers are down. I was gonna ask like what's going on.
City workers.
That's
Yeah,
why
I
our
mean,
numbers are
Yeah.
down.
I would imagine because if you're trying to get on the show, it's buffering, it's not streaming. There's
I'm
another
having
show you can
problems.
watch. I would imagine that's it.
I guess. But I mean, if you're watching from your phone, you shouldn't have a problem.
Okay, everybody switch over to your phones.
Yeah. I just tried to log on and I was like, oh, I can't get it to pull up.
Yeah. What's wrong? Is the internet
What's
down?
wrong? Is something wrong with the internet?
Some of the other names that were waived and cut yesterday by the New Orleans Saints, Dejon Dixon, who we spoke to his agent Rob Brock yesterday, came through. Phones and the waiver wire opens up at 11 a.m. this morning. Saints 18th on the list. So I don't know, man. That's middle of the pack NFL. Right around the middle of the pack, and see if Dejon Dixon. Kirk Merritt was another one that
I thought he was gonna make the team.
I thought he was going to make the team too. I really was. I think
What
they
happened
kept.
with him?
I think they kept an extra safety than they did wide receiver.
I like him.
I think he'll make it through waivers.
What's that mean?
So when you get cut, the way that Robert Brock, the agent, explained it to us yesterday, is that you have to clear what they call waivers. And the waiver wire has all of the guys that were cut and the teams in an order of, I don't know how the order, I guess the Saints are 18th, so it probably goes on record. Record from last season, a lot like the draft does. You have the ability to choose players off the waiver wire as they go down. So Saints are, what I was told, 18th on the list. So like Saints have to get past 17 teams if they want to get some of these guys back.
Okay.
Right? And then like if you grab one, then you got to wait again. You know what I mean?
Is that a good spot to be in? Like 18th on the list? Or no?
I guess you're in the middle of the pack. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I don't know enough about that part of the process to really understand how it works. I just know that some of the guys, Hanson, Merritt, Dejon Dixon, a lot of the guys that we talked about during this training camp of guys that were really pushing towards a spot, they were cut yesterday. So, that gives the opportunity, teams, Ian Book, the quarterback from Notre Dame, you can close the book on him. Thank God. Major league reference.
Wrote his last chapter.
I forget who the pitcher is, but Bob Uecker says you can close the book on Kennedy, and he goes, "Thank God." But I don't know if Ian Book ever takes an NFL snap again.
No, that was a bad experience. That's what you get with Sean Payton, though.
He's an XFL quarterback.
Maybe.
That's what he looks like, feels like.
Who was the cat for the Breakers? He
he
got a shot in the NFL this year. He was on a preseason. I want to say the Vikings. I'm not sure though, but he was like the New Orleans Breakers. He was like I don't want to say MVP, but he played well. That's what Ian Book looks like. Kind of run around, chicken with your head cut off, make a couple of Kyle Slovis. I don't know. Anyway,
well, that's Jacques.
Yeah, but that's what you saw from Ian Book is he got progressively worse. It seemed like
he did.
And then it was just all right.
Was he ever good?
No, but
I didn't understand the draft pick.
Me either. Early, and by all accounts, they reached for him by at least 3 rounds.
Oh, bro, he's an undrafted free agent at best.
Took him in the 4th or 5th.
I don't know, man. Sometimes
Sean Payton
it's
would
an
do that
overthinking.
stuff.
Yeah, he just overthought it.
I can make him great.
Absolutely. That's
so
just.
what happens to them then? Now they're just kind of waiting.
Yeah, you wait to see.
Go work for the city.
Like how long?
Practice
are they
squad.
waiting?
Oh, not long.
Oh,
I mean, teams are building practice squads, and then some of these guys that are even on the 53-man roster, it's not going to stick. So there'll still be opportunities. The thing about the NFL is that kind of like once you get in it, like Justin Evans. Justin Evans' story is crazy. The guy hadn't played football in 3 years. It's just it's wild. That you can pick back up and play at that speed.
Yeah, it is
I mean,
wild.
play at that pace. I mean, you sit out of football for an extended amount of time, there has to be a transition period of, oh my God, this is so fast. And not only do I have to physically be able to keep up, but my reaction and my ability to see and like diagnose and like know where I need to react to. I mean, instinct, all that stuff is just, if you don't do it, you can't just walk up off the sideline and just try to like go out there and fit in. Absolutely. Quick. You get hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, you get hurt.
Well, that's what they were. Chris Long was talking about that. I was listening to his podcast, and he was talking with Julian Edelman. He's been obviously ramping up his workouts as he's wanted to do with Tom Brady in his ear every now and again. And he's like, I mean, I feel so much better because he took a year off.
Yeah.
He's like, I feel great again. He's like, yeah, right now. He goes, tell me how you feel on Monday after Sunday.
Right.
And he's like, oh, I didn't really, like, I've thought about that, but it's like, you don't know what you're going to feel like. And it's like, then tell me what you feel like next Monday after the other Sunday.
Right.
It's like, just because you feel good today because you haven't done anything in a year or like you haven't played football in a year doesn't mean you can go back out there and play again.
That's
like,
right.
You forget about how conditioned the body is for that, and it feels good because you haven't been in a car crash for 16 straight weeks.
Yeah.
That's why I'm telling you, if Cleveland can keep it steady,
And Deshaun comes in fresh.
I mean, you get
He's
you
gonna-
get an all-pro quarterback
Yeah, but he can't get any
in
treatment.
week 12. Yeah, I mean, I hear you. I mean, we can make all the jokes and we can do. I mean, we can do all that stuff. At the end of the day,
He can play.
They're getting a fresh all-pro football player that's stepping in on a team. If they can keep it up, that might be competitive at that point, and that's advantage.
Cleveland.
Cleveland,
You get to bring in essentially a closer.
Right? Does he? He doesn't get to practice, does he?
I don't know.
Right.
I haven't really delved into the. I know he's out for
Because
11
I mean,
games.
like we're talking, there is going to be a period of. I mean, the guy hadn't taken a hit. I mean, I know he played preseason, but like game live hit in a third quarter of an NFL game in over a year.
And and if they're any good, you're thrust into like this is real football.
Yeah,
Like it's not.
It's almost like playoff football.
Right. That almost makes it harder. I know you were pitching it the other way, but for him to like find the groove with
Right.
11, 12,
I see both
13,
sides.
Yeah.
I see both sides of it. All right, Jacques Doucet coming up here. We'll talk more about LSU football. Tigers getting ready for Sunday night versus Florida State. We'll also get his reaction to the New Orleans Saints getting down to 53, what it looks like going into week 1 versus Atlanta on September 11th. Lots that and more coming up here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Don't forget about our friends over at Dead Soxy.
That's Soxy. Use the code Jordy and get up to 35% off of your order, and they pretty much ship overnight, so you can still get your purple and gold socks in time for game day.
We'll be back. Jacques Doucet from WAFB next here on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
We're all from different places and backgrounds. We've each experienced our own versions of life, but in the end, we're all on the same team. I'm part of that team, along with these players in purple and gold.
Kayshawn Buddha, Malik Neighbors, Miles Frazier,
Kyron Lacy.
Greg Brooks.
Whether on the field or in the courtroom, your team matters.
So join our team.
Make a difference.
Bet. Let's get it done.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Thanks.
And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
Do you suffer from chronic dehydration? Are you looking to improve your athletic performance and you need to get over and see our friends over at GoFlow IV? They're located on Jefferson Highway. Easy to find them online at GEAUXFlowIV.com. Make sure and use the promo code Jordy Culotta Show. If you do, they'll take 15% off of your initial visit. Check them out online, GEAUXFlowIV.com. We love the crew over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Chef Shane and his crew dropping off the meals every Monday here to FM Digital Media, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner. Me or the crew's going through our meals over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Their weekly pre-order, freshly made meals, or you can walk into the cooler over there on Airline Highway. They have that fresh, same service over there at Fresh Chef Eats. FreshChefEats.com is where you can find them online. Fresh Chef Kitchen. Tell them you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz.
Looking to book a dumpster but no idea how? We've made it quick and easy for you. Check out our website at moralesrolloffs.com. Let Morales Roll-Offs know your desired delivery date, and finally, provide your contact details. To make payment, look out for an email invoice with all your booking details. On delivery day, our driver will notify you through text and email that your dumpster is ready and on the way. Now you know how easy and convenient it is. Call Morales Roll-Offs at 225-427-0000 for your dumpster.
All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Remember, you can always find us online and right here on YouTube, and you can find us on social media at Culotta Show. Search us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, all of your social media platforms to keep up with all of our content at Culotta Show.
Anywhere the internet is.
WAFB is our television partner.
Not here.
You can check out all of our content over at WAFB Plus /Jordy if you're looking to keep up with that. But we have a great partnership with our team over there, and we've been telling you with traffic, school back in, weather alerts, sports alerts, all of that. Just sign up for the app or download the app, the WAFB app, inside your Apple and Android stores. On the sports desk is the man, Jacques Doucet, who we went to SEC Media Days with. We're putting out some content. It looks like every Wednesday, we've settled on Wednesday, that you're going to be in here?
Yeah, it looks. I think that's the one day each week that can come in and do it for sure.
Perfect.
So looking forward to it.
And then we'll do a little home and home as we'll do some hits over at WAFB through football season as Jacques will be here 8 o'clock. All right, Jacques, we're in it, man. Game week. Before we get to the Saints and Saints cut down to 53, want to get your thoughts on that. LSU is moving towards Sunday evening, starting their regular season under Brian Kelly. Give me your thoughts of Monday's press conference and Coach Kelly addressing the press for the first time in a game setting as LSU's head coach.
Well, halfway joking, halfway serious. It kind of reminded me of a scene from Maverick, Top Gun, Strategic. This is the plan. This is how we're going to execute it. We're going to fly in. I didn't hear anything about Miracle 1 or Miracle 2, but, you can tell it's a different feel than the previous coaches in terms of the CEO approach. And last night, LSU announced their 3 captains. They'll have these 3 permanent captains, Ali Gay, B.J. Ojulari, Mike Jones Jr. They all met with the media last night. I think 3 great reps for LSU. And I think they're going to have an offensive captain every week that'll alternate. But, it's the last day of August today. We're moving into September. The sun's going down a little earlier each day. And this is it. You and I, we do our best to share information with fans and show them what's happening at practice and sound bites and video, but really that just melts like a snowball once the game gets kicked off. This is where we really tell the story. We can say this guy looks good and we can say that guy is ready, but until you do it under the bright lights, you don't really know for sure. And so certainly this game is going to do a mega television rating. You've got 2 big name brands in LSU and Florida State. It's the only college football game that night. It's Labor Day weekend, and so this is a huge debut for Brian Kelly, even though both teams are unranked, because Brian Kelly, for whatever reason, continues to be a very polarizing topic across the country. You host, I wrote him 8 letters, and I didn't even get one back. So, hey, I'm being a little snarky. Lou Holtz, one of the greatest college football coaches of all time, won a national championship at Notre Dame. But all these people, ever since
Taking
he left,
shots,
Marcus Freeman, he runs into the room, they all hug him. We're so happy you're our coach now, and people taking shots at him, Coach Kelly, since he left. So a lot of, and look, the whole fake accent thing, I mean, this is the most overblown,
unreal.
worthless storyline
It really is.
I have
Stupid.
ever heard.
It's so lazy.
Yeah, I mean, we've all been guilty of low-hanging fruit to make people laugh here and there. But did Reese Davis lead off the bat or something off the bat?
I mean, it's like
They're
It's
still
so
trying to
old.
pretend like
It's
LSU
just
is
like-
somebody that
right,
you could kick
like,
around,
like it's
make
Coach
fun
O,
of,
you know,
right?
like Les Miles. It's like, man, y'all got the wrong guy now. I mean, like,
He's not
you're
playing into any of this.
right. I mean,
I remember the day he was hired. We watched it. It was on a live feed. It was at halftime of the LSU basketball game. I watched him talk. I walked away. I didn't think anything of it. And now, 9-10 months later, we're still talking about this.
I know. I remember being at that game too. I was in the stadium. I was in the stands, and when he I never heard people reacting to it. And I remember I got in my car the next morning, and Danny Cannell's show on Sirius was like
leading with it.
They couldn't get over it. They spent like 25 minutes on it. And I was like,
Yeah.
this is unreal. Like, I mean, like this is almost like try hard radio. Like I'm trying to make something out of nothing. Like, and then I went back and listened to it, and I'm like, I guess it's.
I didn't
there.
even hear it.
I didn't.
I
Really,
did not.
Yeah.
I didn't catch
I didn't
it
think
at
it
all.
was- yeah,
It-
me either.
Everywhere I go, I mean, I've been out of Louisiana, and every time I've talked to somebody, hey, I cover LSU football. Oh, how's Brian Kelly in his southern accent? I mean, it is just.
It's like
So
the only
anyway.
thing they know.
It's like crazy. I mean, up in Atlanta. I mean,
Yeah.
we did, I went down Radio Row the day LSU was featured, and I mean, the first question every time, like, what do you think about Coach Kelly? I'm like, are y'all serious? Man? Like,
Yeah.
The family.
Yeah, right.
Like,
It's
oh,
just-
we're still doing
It's-
that?
It's the new Les Miles eats grass. I got tired of that,
It
just
is.
right
Yeah,
away. I mean, Les Miles
absolutely.
rolled
He
up
did
one
that.
piece of grass
Yeah.
and chewed on it, and people
Yeah.
act like he's got a bowl of grass and eating with
Right.
Tony Sachery's on top. Anyway, but no, looking forward to the first game. Real excited. Coach Kelly has obviously used the media to speak to his team, to motivate, in particular, the wide receivers. Kayshawn Booty, I've been calling him Butte for like 3 years or
his
whatever.
whole life.
Kayshawn Booty, and then it was Brian Thomas Jr., Jeray Jenkins.
Yeah.
I think he's also tried to use the media to maybe speak some things into existence. Garrett Dellinger has really settled in at center. He's really doing a good job.
Mason Taylor.
What's that?
I think he's speaking to Mason Taylor too. Kind of like he just keeps ass patting him.
the
You're
guy-
good.
you're gonna be the
good,
guy.
bro. You're gonna be a player. We all love you. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like he's.
I'm
telling
not
him.
one for predictions, but I'm going to predict this. Mason Taylor catches a touchdown against the Florida State Seminoles.
I love that.
Okay.
See
I
what
love
the
that.
Caesars have.
He's like, hold on, what was that?
Jacques said.
Let me open that app.
Some good
Here's a
odds.
kid that's grown up with famous people his whole life.
Yeah, yeah.
Jason Taylor, Zach Thomas is his
uncle.
His uncle.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been in it from the get-go and just seems like a real humble, great kid who's going to be asked to start right away.
And looks the part. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Very much. I think checks the boxes of. I hate the fact that he's got to play.
Yeah.
So meaningful early on. I mean,
Yeah.
he's the type of player I think that even if you had one veteran in front of him that you trusted by the midseason mark, you could kind of release him into the wild and let him go run. But to have him starting play one, game one, rep one of his college career, it'll pay off further down the line. You might have to see some things over the next couple of weeks that you would have been able to see on the practice field if there would have been just a little depth in front of him.
Yeah, I think there's a few guys like that. Certainly, I mean, rightfully so, we have praised Will Campbell, who may be a future Pro Football Hall of Famer, but even a guy like that is going to have some ups and downs from what I hear. He's
Think Myles Garrett, La'el Collins. Remember La'el Collins pile driving Myles Garrett into the sideline and moving? I mean, Myles Garrett was still the number one pick, but La'el Collins was 22 years old. You know what I mean?
Right.
At some point, Campbell's going to wrap up with a grown man. I mean, Will Anderson's probably going to line up over him against Alabama. That's probably going to be a long day for Will Campbell, right? I mean, one that he accepts the challenge, but one that just you can spend as much time as you want in the weight room. You're still 18, and he's 20, 21.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just it's
There's a
different.
big difference there.
Yeah.
Not when you're like 45 and 43. It's kind of the same. But, at that age. And then also, we've heard them say, cornerback was a big concern in the spring, but now we've got 6 guys that we can roll out there. It's really a position of depth. We'll see if that's true as well. Can you rely on the guys out there? And look, you're loaded at wide receiver. Do you have a guy to get him the ball? And so that's another question. I don't think these guys are going to be happy if we're throwing for $150 a game. You know, I think so. How do you get the guys involved? Noah Kane, huge X factor in this game. We heard Coach Kelly during fall camp saying he's been kind of dipping his toe in the water. Does he trust himself after the injury? And then he kind of got his confidence and then was, you know, hitting it without thinking. So I think he's going to be a huge part in this game as well. You know, sometimes we go to practice, see him catch the ball out of the backfield and really hit the sideline. So I'd like to see that against Florida State.
How concerning is the kicker? You can tell that Kelly he's stressing that here on game week.
You know, I know some LSU fans don't want to hear the new assistant coach, Brian Polian, come in and say, hey, you guys been spoiled with these last two kickers and whatnot. But, yeah, it's huge. I mean, you know, we are coming off probably the best specialist in LSU history in Avery Atkins, where you could go get a beer every time he kicked off because it was going to be in the end zone. And then you go from Cole Tracy, who was a big unknown. Oh, he kicked at Little Assumption College. He can't do it here. And then obviously right off the bat against Miami and then against Auburn in 2018, he proves it. And then you got Cade York, who follows him up with a great career. Had some shaky moments in 19 here and there, but then obviously steadied things. So, yeah, that's a huge question mark. I mean, we've heard them talk about, we had this game the other day and he hit a 52, 54-yarder to win it. But obviously they didn't have a guy right off the bat and say, hey, this is our kicker. So, yeah, I think when he goes out there for the first time, a lot of LSU fans are going to be holding their breath on that. But I think, once again, I think Coach Kelly has tried to speak some things into existence, saying he's done great. We have a lot of faith in him, and here we go. So,
how good do you expect the defense to be?
And real quick, I'm sorry.
No.
But I was thinking about this driving over. The previous assistant coach for special teams. Is there a guy that has been a part of more great stuff? I mean, Greg McMahon, what a career.
I was surprised he didn't make the cut.
Yeah.
I really was. I mean, just because of how that corner of the office has performed. Now, it looks like Brian Polian is somebody that Kelly very much trusts and was going to have a spot on the staff, and it made sense for him at special teams, but Greg McMahon had done – I mean, even Polian, you can see that the respect he has for the job that he done before him by the way he opened his press conference.
I mean, the reopening of the Dome in 2006, the Steve Gleason block punt, the Garrett Hartley field goal in the NFC Championship game, the onside kick in the Super Bowl.
Reggie Bush is a specialist returning punts.
Yeah. And by the way,
against Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm the special teams coach of the greatest college football team of all time with Cade York and Zach Von Rosenberg punting and Avery Atkins.
And I'm not recruited in 30 years, and I found Cole Tracy and Cade York in back-to-back recruiting classes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Greg McMahon's a dude. I just want to say that real quick. But,
I agree.
So, yeah, the defense.
How good do you expect them to be?
Well, hey, look, Mike Jones, everyone loves Mike Jones. What a great personality. I remember the first time they brought him for interviews, and everybody in the media said, bring that guy back, please. And so, once again, last night, I think he said, I go outside, the grass is smelling even better. It's game week. I got my energy, you know.
Great storyteller.
Oh, yeah. Great storyteller. And, you know, self-deprecating humor. Right. You know, the last two times I've been in the Dome, I lost to LSU in the national championship, and then I think they lost to Ohio State in the playoff during the COVID season. So can he step in the inside and make 100 tackles for LSU this year? Micah Baskerville, seems like he's been kind of up and down. Where does he fit in after making 80 tackles last year and playing off Damone Clark so well? I mean, obviously we talk about the defensive line, and all those guys are going to be in the NFL. But after that, you know, how does it stack up? And I think, look, Florida State played Duquesne, which I guess Duquesne might be equivalent to a McNeese or something like that. But these running backs were physical. They broke a lot of tackles, and I assume they're going to line up and say, here we come, and can you stop us? And then obviously the quarterback is a dual threat and all that. And look, Florida State's got to be looking at this game as very winnable. You know, we've played a game. We've got reps under our belt. We're going to have 30,000 fans there at least. LSU is coming off a couple of down seasons. And LSU, from their perspective, they can't lose this game and have a decent year. I agree.
I think that to get to 8 or 9, you have to get this one. I mean, this is a swing game almost. I hate to term it like that because it's game 1, but when you just step back and look at this schedule, to get to that number, you got to win Sunday.
Yeah. And, you know, last year was last year, whole different head coach, whole different staff. But we saw last year how the season opener can really dictate how the year goes. And last year started with a thud, and it was hard to bounce back from that. So whole different circumstances this year. We're not, you know, no one's talking about the head coach being fired or any of that stuff, but we'll see how it goes.
What do you expect at quarterback?
I mean, the last time we went to practice was Saturday, and everything we've seen was Jaden Daniels was taking the majority of the reps at quarterback. So, I mean, I guess I'd be surprised if he's not the first guy to trot out there. But Coach Kelly has made it clear that both guys are going to play. There's that soundbite back in the spring when Ed Daniels, Coach Ed Daniels, have you ever played two quarterbacks? And Coach Kelly's like, like I hate playing two quarterbacks. But Brody Miller has a great article up today at the Athletic talking about how he has played two quarterbacks a lot in his career and started one guy to begin the year and yanked him quickly and put the other guy in, and he finished things out.
Was it Ian Book?
Was it Tommy Dees or something came in after?
Tommy Dees and Tommy Reese.
Yeah, Dees was I don't remember the guys, but certainly I was there in Orlando when LSU played Notre Dame on that rainy day, and the first guy started, Malik Zaire, I think.
Yeah, and then Brandon
and then
Woodbush
yanked
came
him,
in.
and then Ian Book came in and then threw the late touchdown pass as LSU lost that game at the end. So, we'll see. He says, and I think I agree, that it's not like it's going to be Jaden Daniels and the backup is Miles Brennan, where there's this big difference between them in terms of their physical skill set and what they do. So, Garrett can run, Jaden can really run, and, I think they'll both play.
Atmosphere on Sunday should be rocking, huh?
Yeah, I would.
But this is a big travel weekend, too. Like, I've heard a lot of people from Louisiana, like going down to the Gulf South, or like going to the Gulf Coast for the
Almost
weekend.
everyone I know. I don't know anyone going to the game. They're all going to the beach.
But both sides have sold their tickets allotment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I talk, and then, some people, look, you and I grew up in the 80s and 90s going to Tiger Stadium and seeing LSU play Florida State, Texas A&M when they weren't in the SEC, Miami of Florida, the big non-conference home and homes that have kind of gone away. And the neutral site thing is still kind of a controversial subject. All the businesses that would benefit from this. But I got it from a pretty good source last night. LSU's getting paid about $5.2 million to play in this game.
They want to play 12 of these.
Yeah.
They would play 12 of these every week.
You're Beyonce. Hey, I just show up, perform for a few hours, get my $5 million and get out. I don't have to pay for security. I don't have to pay for concessions.
I have to clean the stadium.
Right. Parking, all that, So from LSU's perspective, it's a big win. In their pocket. 100 hotel rooms comped also, I was told.
Whew.
So
what a deal.
So it's hard to say no to that
yes.
kind of stuff. So
what's a home game? What's a home game net? $3 million?
It seemed like they used to say $2 million, and now it's gone up to 3 or 4, maybe, or something like that. And so I don't mind these at all, especially when there's a roof over your head. We know how the weather is in late August and early September. Hey, look, we take weather out of the equation. Mm-hmm. Everyone's comfortable.
72 degrees in there.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all, really, to be honest with you. And then getting into October on a beautiful fall day, okay, we can enjoy the outdoor stuff.
You know anything about Florida State? I mean, Mike Norvell's he's got it back up against the wall going into the season, right? I mean, he's got to win as far as his
stock is concerned.
Once again, we grew up in the 90s with starter jackets and the Florida State starter jackets.
The brand.
Yeah.
The brand.
It really was.
The brand.
Yeah.
The LSU, the Florida State Miami game that nobody missed every year. Mm-hmm. Just great college football. And then Jimbo Fisher winning a national title with Jameis Winston and then going to a playoff. And then since then, it's kind of been, they've been out in the wilderness a little bit. And sometimes you see the shot of their stadium for home games and there's nobody there.
Yeah.
So.
Is he out if he doesn't have a winning season?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think he's squeezed all of the equity out of his good feelings. I think people are kind of now looking at him saying, if it's not now, it's not gonna happen.
And I don't pay enough attention to it, but Deion Sanders is doing a lot more than I expected. Mm-hmm. I kind of thought Deion was all about Deion. I remember his first game at Jackson State. The big story was he got his stuff stolen out of the locker room.
That's right.
It was always about Deion, But he stuck it out, and I guess he's proven that this wasn't just a publicity stunt. That he wants to be a coach, and that talk about him being the head coach at Florida State. I don't know if that would work or not, but certainly it would make college football a lot more exciting. So
yeah, I mean, the fact that he stole the number one recruit in the country that was committed to Florida State, or it seemed like he was going to go to Florida State, and now has him in Jackson, Mississippi. I know that many people that cover HBCU and around those programs almost look at it like you're raining on the parade, or like you're degrading them when you say that they're going to get the attention of the bigger job if they perform on that level. It's just there's no way around it. And if Dion wants to stick it out in Jackson State, it's very commendable. But what the truth of the matter is that he's going to have options. He's going to have options of going to coach at a big-time school. And the fact that he went to Florida State and that he's so recognizable with that program and that he could show up, with the number one recruit in the country from 2022's recruiting cycle has got to be very attractive to Florida State suits.
Yeah. HBCUs are making a comeback, and I'm all for it.
I agree.
Look, 1972, 1973, that may seem like a long time ago, but it ain't. Those were the first black players that came to LSU. Mm-hmm. Southern and Grambling, these were the schools, a lot of them that were producing, the talent to go to the NFL. And so, after all the racial strife of the summer of 2020 and whatnot, I think HBCU is making a comeback. LSU's going to play Southern. It's a great thing, I think, this year. And so, you and I talked about it yesterday during the NCAA tournament. Kim Mulkey's just trying to pay a compliment to the Jackson State coach. Y'all better pay her. Y'all better pay her if y'all want to stick around and whatnot. And the fans got mad about that. Stop trying to get our coach to leave. But, it's just like any other profession. Eventually you want to move up and get paid more.
Absolutely.
Or you can be Hugh Jackson.
Anything else on LSU before we get to the Saints? Anything that you wanted to mention before?
Well, WAFB will have a live special.
Yeah.
5:30 Sunday. And even if you're not in the WAFB viewing area, it'll be streamed live at WAFB.com. Working on some, when we say special, we try to make it special. We try to shoot some different interviews. I talked to both Kim Mulkey and Jay Johnson about Brian Kelly. And look, things have changed, right? The coaches show on Thursday, not Wednesday, is a lot different. Mm-hmm. I was so waiting for the first evil twin Brian Kelly interaction. Coach, you came from the land of leprechauns, but now you are an LSU Tiger. And if you beat little Nicky Poo-Saban in November, you will be the king of Louisiana. Coach, I have a question. So there's no interaction between Brian Kelly and an evil twin.
That was good.
So anyway.
So that's evil twin if you're wondering.
I know,
yes,
we talked about it.
That's exactly
Love the evil twin.
I like it.
Imitation is the highest form of flattery.
That's a
the
good imitation.
evil twin. Yeah, I know. Jeez, I made a couple of comments last week. They wanted to burn me at the stake, bro. They wanted to
Yeah, they really
kill
did.
my
A lot
ass.
of twin supporters.
But yeah, they're not taking live calls on the coaching show anymore. They're they used to bum rush the coach during the commercial break with autographs and everything. That's been shut down. They do 2 or 3. So we talk about that. We talk about, and look, I think Jay Johnson gave a great soundbite. I love to interact with fans, but the biggest gift we can give LSU fans is putting the best team on the field. And that's Brian Kelly's mission, and that's what he's looking to do. So we got a special at 5:30, and then our newscast on Sunday night is 1 hour. So hopefully when the game ends at 6:30 game, that we'll have a lot of live stuff on our newscast on Sunday night. So that's we're looking forward. Me and Darren, Beavis and Butthead, we're going to New Orleans on Saturday, and we'll start our coverage.
Nice.
So.
What year is this for you and Darren working LSU beat together?
Steve,
I don't mean to age you, but
well,
y'all
I
been at
started
this
at
a long
Channel
time.
9 in March of 2001. I was 15, and then Steve Schneider put me on the LSU beat permanently for football in 2011.
Okay.
So I've basically been at every LSU game since 2011.
Hell of a run.
Yeah, it's.
I remember when that announcement was made at the Monday press conference when Steve was telling people that you're the guy now. He's passing the baton. Golly, that was 2011.
2011, right off the bat with that team, awesome team. Great team to cover. The running backs, the defense, Tyron Matthew, all that stuff. My first year at Channel 9, I got to cover Brady James and Rohan Davey and Michael Clayton and Nick Saban. Just
right.
I'm getting paid to do this. My mom would always say, you would pay them to work there. And it was true. So, but yeah, it's fun to go. This is nothing like college football. This is nothing like, going like to Jordan Hare Stadium in 2018 and being on the sideline and Cole Tracy goes out and kicks the field goal at the gun and the celebration and all that. You just can't. It's just great, So I love it. So anyway, Darren has been shooting LSU football for a long time. I think Darren's first ever game was the 1997 win over Florida.
Way.
That was the first. Hey, we need you to shoot the LSU game this weekend. And he said he was on the field, and he kind of wasn't paying attention. All the fans are on the field, and the goalpost fell like right by. Like he had a shot of the goalpost falling like right at him.
Wow.
Great stuff. But yeah, he's the best. I mean,
he is the best.
You know, you can't just go out there, hey, I'm going to shoot the ball. You have to be cognizant of the storylines and who's where, and this coach is here, and this coach is there, and players, and this guy got injured and went out. And so, yeah, so we've been a great team.
Saints get down to 53 yesterday. The news was not the cuts. The news was a trade that they made with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson being dealt to Philadelphia for not a lot in return, 5th and a 7th round pick. What did you make of that move for Chauncey Gardner-Johnson?
I guess I was a bit shocked. I mean, the Saints had kind of been out of my mind. I wouldn't have been so into LSU, but that guy behind you right there, Tyrann Mathieu, I remember when I visited with him talking about the possibility of going to the Saints. I mean, one of the things he talked about was I can't wait to team up with C.D. Deuce, I can't wait to be with him and the two big personalities, and so that's not going to happen now. So, yeah, I was a bit surprised, but listening to all the New Orleans media, it feels like it's a hit that they can take, that they're very deep on defense, and so I hope that's the case. So I was surprised that they traded him away and didn't get a whole lot in return. But I guess I shouldn't be surprised listening to what I've heard from the New Orleans media that they were never going to pay him what he wanted. And that's the evil thing about professional sports. You can have a great story like Jimmy Graham come along and overachieve, and then eventually I want my money, and then you got a messy divorce and all that, and so that's unfortunate. So.
What do you make of Dennis Allen's first preseason, or the first team that he will take into a regular season for New Orleans as the head coach?
He has a couple of Peytonisms when he answers questions.
Mm-hmm. Look, listen.
Yeah. Used to be like that PSA for highway railroad crossings. Look, listen, and live. But yeah, he does that. We got to clean that up. That's another Peytonism. Peyton would always say a fumble was a ball out. Had a ball out, and I think he does that too. But it's been a pretty, I guess, seamless transition, and everyone. It was hard to judge what they were doing in the preseason because nobody they're counting on to win games was playing. No Tyrann, no Jarvis, no Jameis. So
Alvin Kamara.
No Alvin Kamara. So I guess the beginning of that game the other night against the Chargers was the best reflection of how they're going to look, and they look pretty good.
Right.
So, I mean, Vegas has them, at 9 wins or something like that? I still hate 17 games. Do you like 17 games? It's just like, we went 9-8. No. We were 10-7. I thought 16 was a perfect.
I'd like it, if you're going to do that, just expand the playoffs and give me another week of playoff football. You know what I mean? That's where you really get me. And even the divisional round of playoffs, sometimes some of those games can be, the Indianapolis-Houston game on Saturday at 2.
Yeah,
right. Like you're like
locked in.
What is this, week 4?
Yeah, bet the under.
Yeah, right. But I mean,
well, here's the nerd in me. I remember when they first expanded the playoffs and the Saints got in 1990 at 8-8. They beat the Rams on New Year's Eve, a chip shot field goal by Martin Anderson. And they go to Chicago and they play this game, and it's a dog game. I mean, they got Steve Walsh and John Forcade were at quarterback for the Saints, and Chris Berman. This game should not have been played. This was not a playoff-worthy team, And so, to think it was kind of a compromise. I mean, didn't they want 18 regular season games? Yes. And still, LSU runs out with 100 guys, and you want me to win a game with 45 dudes on a roster and get through a 17-game schedule. It just doesn't make any sense.
It's crazy. I mean, but it also shows you how much money they're making on game days in the NFL. I mean, it just let's get out in front and tell everybody we care about concussions, but let's squeeze 2 more games out of them.
It is a contradiction.
All right, so Saints Atlanta, week 1, September 11th. How do you guys cover football season here when you got I guess you got a week and a half before NFL starts, before after college here?
Yeah, Kevin Baptiste, who's done a great job for us, typically covers all the Saints home games. And every now and then, like after LSU is done with the regular season, we've traveled to a game here and there. I remember going in 2009 when the Saints played Washington. One of the biggest miracles I've ever seen. Washington was up by 7, had a chip shot field goal. Sean Swisham from 23 yards. A pro kicker misses a 23-yarder that would have given them a 10-point lead, and they win. And the Saints were 12-0, I think.
Was that the day Meacham stripped the ball?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
This was the game after the big win over on Monday Night Football, I think, against the Patriots.
That's right.
You know, Devery Henderson, Jim Henderson. He could do the backstroke from there. He's so wide open. And they somehow won that game, you know. And I remember being there for that one. And then we went to Baltimore in 2010. They lost that one. So we try to travel here and there, but typically we just make the home games for the Saints.
Jacques, right? The special one more time. WFB on is it Sunday?
Sunday. 5:30. Kelly's Kickoff.
Oh.
Nice alliteration.
like
Kelly's
that.
Kickoff.
Okay.
5:30 on WAFB, and then streaming live WAFB.com if you want to catch it there.
Sweet. Jacques Doucet every Wednesday with us here in studio, talking LSU, recapping the week. Also going to give you some tidbits on high school football as it gets going this Friday night, and Sportsline Friday will be
Sportsline at 10:10 on Friday night.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
10:10 Friday night. Sportsline Friday. What year is this for Sportsline?
33.
Wow.
Steve Schneider, the Steve Sable of local sports.
Yes, he is.
You know, used to be they covered like 2 high school games, U High and whoever was playing at Memorial. Steve was the first guy to say, hey, send a camera to Santa Moss, send a camera to Kentwood, send a camera, and then, you know, the rest is history. Sports on Friday night. Probably still the thing we get recognized for the most. I love that high school show you guys do.
Absolutely.
It's great.
Absolutely. All in the communities. Jacques will be here every Wednesday. Make sure to hit that like and share button. We'll be back with more of the Jordy Culotta Show, answering your mailbag questions. What do you think over there, Lizzie? Can we do a little voicemail, a little call-in? Okay, good. 225-229-7741. 225-229. Rofe Camara, get in and ask your questions here for our mailbag segment coming your way next in the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
Hey, Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
We love the crew over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Chef Shane and his crew dropping off the meals every Monday here to FM Digital Media, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner. Me or the crew's going through our meals over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Their weekly pre-order, freshly made meals, or you can walk into the cooler over there on Airline Highway. They have that fresh, same service over there at Fresh Chef Eats. FreshChefEats.com is where you can find them online. Fresh Chef Kitchen. Tell them you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show.
We're all from different places and backgrounds. We've each experienced our own versions of life, but in the end, we're all on the same team. I'm part of that team, along with these players in purple and gold.
Kayshawn Buddha, Malik Neighbors, Miles Frazier,
Kyron Lacey.
Greg Brooks.
Whether on the field or in the courtroom, your team matters.
So join our team.
Make a difference.
Bet. Let's get it done.
Best athlete to come out of New Iberia, Mark Roman?
Kayshawn Buddha.
Kayshawn? Wow.
Right now, Kayshawn, you know, and Mark was a little bit before me. I was a ball boy when Mark was playing at New Iberia Senior High School. I played like right after Mark, but Kayshawn just has done some things, and you know, just the things that you guys are seeing Kayshawn do, that he's not even scratching the surface of what we saw on a day-to-day basis at practice. You know, and he's unreal. He's unreal.
He's so natural. It's so so easy. It looks so easy to him.
Yes, it's so easy, and there's never been another a competitor I've ever seen like Kayshawn. Kayshawn would not lose going to eat pregame meal. You know, he has to be the first. He is the ultimate competitor. You know, he would not lose. So trust me, he will be ready.
Southern Eye Centers, located at 6859 Jefferson Highway right here in Baton Rouge, has been serving your eyes for over 40 years in the capital region. They offer friendly service in a helpful environment with the highest level of personal care to manage your eye health and vision needs. If you want more information, log online to southerneyecenters.com That is southerneyecenters.com. Stop in and check out their beautiful office located on Jefferson Highway right here in the capital city. And remember, each time you walk in there and you mention the Jordy Culotta Show, Dr. Ann Shaw and Southern Eye Centers will take 25% off of their fantastic selection of sunglasses. All you got to do is mention the Jordy Culotta Show. Check them out. southerneyecenters.com and located at 6859 Jefferson Highway. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz.
Can we talk about the mail, please, Mac? I'm dying to talk about the mail with you all day, okay? I gotta go up to his office. I gotta put his mail in the guy's goddamn hands.
But they've been asking for their mail on a daily basis. It's all they're talking about up there.
Because the mail never stops. It just keeps coming and coming and coming. There's never a let-up. It's relentless. Every day it piles up more and more and more, and you gotta get it up. And the more you get out, the more it keeps coming in. And then the barcode reader breaks, and it's Publishers Clearinghouse.
All right.
I can't believe I'm gonna be a mailman.
Jesus Christ, that right there.
Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet on this live Wednesday morning. Make sure we hit.
What?
That's a log. That's a good old-fashioned radio log.
I like a radio log.
Ugh.
I've never seen this before. It looks
Good.
very organized.
They live in the 90s.
That's
Yeah,
very
those are.
organized. Who put this together?
Tommy Grayson.
Oh,
it looks
Tommy. Hey, Tommy.
I like it.
Good
I'm
show
into
last
it.
night for the boys over at Hold the Rope.
It
Jay
was.
Johnson, Skip Burtman. Good to see our friend Mike Scarborough coming through the studio
Oh yeah,
last night.
patched some things up, act like nothing. There was no,
Always.
apparently no beef.
Always.
No beef.
Always. Mike, we good? Yeah, we good. What do you mean? What do you mean?
Okay.
I just I don't know. I just saw you storm out at the Mason's Grill, and I hear that you're saying you're not a Jordy guy.
You know,
And
word gets back to
want to make
people.
sure. We're all good. We're all good. We're all good. We're good.
You can do Tiger
Yeah,
Bait
come
out
on
of
in,
here.
bro. Yeah, I mean,
Bring old buddy with you.
Mi casa, su casa, bro. Come enjoy.
Amanda's a sponsor.
100 pounds of sausage, Buddy said.
But, yeah. You really could go up there if you went up to Amanda and said,
I think-
Buddy sent me, they would just give you a care
I
package.
want to say Kador did it.
Fill you up
Oh,
with
really?
I think Kador went up there and said "Oh, Budman sent me for 100 pounds."
Spicy.
Backing up the truck.
I'll take that from you.
That's a lot of
Speaking of Roger Kador, about to be a part of the FM Digital Media family over here, as Coach Kador's been walking the halls over here. There he is, Stewie. Fresh off of class. Stewie, you threatened you weren't going back last Wednesday.
Don't you dare do that, Stewie.
All right.
He skipped yesterday. My guy. We
Okay,
hung
there you
around
go,
a little
Stewie.
too long,
There
and he's
you
like,
go.
I can't
Yeah.
go.
Maybe one more.
Well, yeah, exactly. Pass that.
Right, maybe one
do
more.
He gonna do one.
Maybe one
do
more.
one.
Yeah, right. I guess. I mean, the traffic. There's nowhere to park. Is it raining? Is it
this-
thunder? Is it thunder?
That's exactly what we did. We went through the whole list.
the whole
He's
the
like,
checklist.
Oh, man. He's like,
Everything. It was a cloud covery day.
It was not.
It's humid out.
It could rain, dude.
Yeah, right. It's probably gonna rain.
I didn't bring my umbrella.
Pull it up. What time?
Yeah.
11:30. I get
Oh.
out at 11:15. How am I gonna walk back to my car? I'm not going.
Yeah, I can't
I'm not
go.
going. I'm not going.
You need to start driving these kids to class and dropping them off.
Ooh,
and picking them
nice
up.
little business
that
there.
would be a good little business
That's what you
opportunity.
need
Yeah.
Yes. You need to do that.
Y'all hit this before you go to philosophy. You'll thank me later.
Tell that teacher to email me.
Yeah.
I got a philosophy for him.
Yeah.
Can you still do virtual if you want to? They don't offer
Ooh.
Let me-
That's
let-
good. That's a good move, though.
Yeah, because then I'm
To not
zooming
offer
in.
it?
Yes.
Yeah, no
You
one
got to
was
get it
going
back
to
on
class.
campus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I will drop y'all off at school.
Exactly. There you go.
Maybe I will.
Good shit.
All right, mailbag questions. Lloyd, what we got here? We got any voicemails? Remember, have a take, don't suck. If you want to call in, you can. 225-229-7741. Clinton Parish knocking down a couple of fence posts this morning and building him a wall around his house down there. If he wants to, yeah, you morons.
Idiots.
Oh, we got a spam one. Timefuckme.org.
Stop.
I'm serious. Okay. I mean, it looks a little shoddy the way it's put together.
Is
So I don't think
mailbag question. Taylor Roy, mailbag
that
question.
one.
It's a question for Lloyd.
Ah.
Lloyd, can you give me your opinion on this bet? Purdue money line, Oregon Ducks spread versus Arkansas money line, Utah money line, and LSU money line. Taylor's a degenerate.
Yeah.
Off the bat, but I know that it is week one and my man is gearing up. Hopefully, Taylor, you have your account over at Caesars Sportsbook while Lloyd pulls up the
Yeah, I got to see who they're playing.
the information that you are looking for.
Last night on Caesars Sportsbook, Cincinnati money line,
Oh, we got a phone call.
Arkansas.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
You put it on to win the game?
Yes. I was watching Inside College Football last night, and I just started getting some feelings. Y'all know how my feelings go.
What's the money line? How much to win
I don't
what?
remember. I'll have to look.
Okay.
I think I bet 100. And
Have a take, don't suck. Lloyd's doppelganger inside of the chat says, is Jim Rome in Jordy's chair? Have a take, don't suck. I stole it from Romy, one of my favorites. What's your name? What's your name? Where you calling from? What do you say there, B? What you got, bro?
So I don't know if you caught this segment with Tom Luganville and Creighton Co. yesterday. I think it was yesterday, but they were talking about Quinn Ewers. Maybe not. Steve Sarkisian doesn't have an option at quarterback. He has to start Quinn Ewers. And my question is, how long before NIL starts rearing its ugly head to where the Red McCombs of the world and Gordon McKernans, probably not Gordon, but people that have their money invested want to see certain players and won't give the coaches options?
Brett, it's an excellent question. Thank you for calling. Thank you for listening. And if you have heard Lane Kiffin speak on this, that's his point of view. I mean, that's what he's saying. At what point does the boosters tell you? I mean, Kiffin's like, look, these guys are putting together deals that the schools have no idea about, the amount of money, what they're asking them to do, but their relationship with the school allows them the access to get close to these players and kids. And at what point do you become so comfortable that you just pick up the phone and say, hey, look, I'm not paying for this. I'm paying for this kid to play. I mean, what's the kid's name who's going to Miami? They got the $11 million deal, or turned down $11 million from the University of Florida, the California quarterback. He was on LSU's list. Stewie, what's his name? Bring it up. You know what I'm talking about. Jaden Rashada. I mean, he chose University of Miami for a reported $8 million deal in NIL, in which he turned down 11, reportedly, from Florida. You don't think that whoever's stroking that check for the $8 million in week 7 sees Jaden Rashada on the sideline is going to pick up the phone and call somebody within the organization and say, I'm not paying for this. I'm paying for the kid to play. I mean, it may not be Jaden Rashada, but it might be the next Jaden Rashada. It might be the next one. And I'm hearing the same thing you are with what's going on down in Austin with Quinn Ewers, is that through the majority of this competition, through the preseason, I think a lot of people around Texas that cover the program are saying he's not the better quarterback. But you're paying him all this money, and you got boosters that are paying so close attention to what's going on down there that I guess you got to pay him. I'm not saying that Sarkisian's playing him because he's feeling booster pressure, but I got to imagine the NIL deal that was struck with Ewers and the recruitment of Ewers to get him back to Austin from Ohio State came with some promises that, you're playing out right now. What else we got, Lloyd? Anything? Voicemail?
He's over there betting. You're over there betting on Cincy now, aren't
No.
you?
That's what I was. We have
plus 196, by the way.
Plus 196.
Hey, Jody. This is John LeDoux from Woodlands, Texas. Hey, I got a question for you. When I look at all the NFL prospects that LSU has, currently we have about 7 guys that are projected to go in the draft next year. Why are we not getting any love from any of the pollsters? And you got people like A&M and those guys who lost a lot last year, and they get all the love. Thank you.
Well, look, man, first off, the polls are prisoners of the moment, and the moment for Texas A&M is shining because of what they did in recruitment, and I think that is going to bring a lot of pressure for this season. People that cover Texas A&M tell you that it's not 2022 that you need to worry about the Aggies, it's 2023 that really they're going to be good. So I think that there's going to be a lot of pressure on Texas A&M this season to perform because of those expectations, and I think LSU's coming from a spot that's very comfortable for Brian Kelly in year one, and I think the reason why it's happening is because of what's the last thing the public saw from LSU, and that was that Texas Bowl performance, and that was all of the transfers and all of the turmoil that they were going through before Kelly got in and was able to establish how he was going to run his program. Now, I think that I was listening to Cole Kubelik's show the other day with he and Greg McElroy over on Jacques. I was checking out their podcast. They have a ton of respect for LSU. Like, they really understand that LSU's got some dudes on defense, especially on the line of scrimmage, that can change and control a game. They got some playmakers on the outside. They really know the roster. And I think that there's people around the country that do that. But for the most part, I mean, the national media is lazy. I mean, just like Jacques and I were talking about how many people still play up the storyline of Brian Kelly's accent. Like, come on, man, give me a break. Like, do some homework, do some preparation. And I think that's kind of what's happening with LSU. I mean, think back on what people were saying when they saw they had 10 players drafted. People were like, my God, this is – well, yeah. I mean, LSU's got talent. Always have, always really will. And with Kelly leading them, they're sitting in a great spot with no expectation, no ranking, kind of coming from behind on people and, surprising them in year one. But I think that the reason why, to answer your question, that they're not getting the due respect that they might deserve, or, maybe even the attention that they're used to of getting this time of the year, it's just because the last time the general public saw LSU, they were a dumpster fire. I mean, that was a roster and a game that, I mean, I don't know if LSU will, there's nothing you can take away from that other than that this program looks like they're in trouble. But Kelly's able to ride it pretty quick through transfer portal and recruiting and, just establishing accountability in the program.
I love going into a season unranked.
Me too.
I mean, I don't want to make a habit of it.
No. But starting off Kelly's tenure from this point,
well, it shows that you had to make a move, right? If your LSU football hasn't been in the top 20, or it's been in the top 25 every year since 2000 until this year, it shows you what. I mean, it's time to nip it in the bud. I don't think anybody is shocked to see LSU make a change, but who they made the change for, I believe, was the initial shock, and then you see, did LSU figure it out? Like, that's going to be probably in an optimistic mindset going into next year. LSU's probably going to be back on the map in terms of,
yes.
Goodness.
No. LSU, to me, could be I think the way that you look at this progression, think about it now. LSU, don't think that Scott Woodward's not selling to Brian Kelly that in year 3, Nick Saban played and won a national championship. In year 3, for Les Miles, he played and won a national championship. In year 3, for Ed Ogeron, he played and won a national championship. You should have this program competitively at the top of college football in 3 years, is the way that I'd imagine Woodward was selling it to Kelly. And for somebody like Kelly to look at Ed Ogeron and Les Miles and see the success that they had, he's got to internally believe, at least from a confidence standpoint, and know he's better at the trade than those guys are. And if he just sticks to a plan that he develops, it should be just a matter of time before LSU's at least
they're going to be knocking on the door
on that level, right? So I think that after year 1, I mean, that's why it's so beautiful. Like, you're not ranked in year one. So there's going to be so clear of mile markers that you can look at the progression of the program. He went into his first season unranked. He came out of it a top 15 program. He went into year 2 ranked number 18 preseason. He finished there number 7. In year 3, he went into the preseason ranked number 12, 11, finished the year 3. Next year, he's a champ. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of the evolution and progression of what it feels like LSU is about to set sail on, because, I mean, the track record and
the place,
just who Kelly is, man. I mean, he is a winner. You know what I mean? Like, he's a winner, man. I mean, my therapist tells me that the world is sectioned off winners and losers.
Oh.
Don't ever think it. You know what I mean? Like, there's winners and losers. It's a mindset.
Winners
Brian Kelly's
win,
a winner.
losers lose.
Yeah, truly.
Mm-hmm.
Truly. I mean, you control your attitude and you control your effort. And losers think they're going to lose and that everything's is stacked against them and they can't have a fair shake and nobody's going to look at them and tell them what they need to hear. And winners just say, I'm going to figure it out.
Is your therapist just a coach?
Pretty much a sports psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but I agree with that.
Don't you give me 10 over there, Jordy?
I agree with that.
You had loser mentality. Walk in the door.
But I agree with that.
Oh, absolutely. I've heard that from since I was young, and I've always thought it just make sense. Like, winners win, losers lose. Look at Michael Jordan. Look at Tom Brady. It's like these people.
And those are
it doesn't mean you can't lose.
And
like,
those are clear examples of
Yeah.
them, right? I think those are the most grand of examples of them. Hey,
Brian Kelly.
all of your friends. I
Yeah,
mean, like
losers.
Your social circle, right? I mean, that's it's not just Michael Jordan and Tom Brady. I mean, it's
success breeds success.
It's all of us.
All I do is win.
Did you see him?
DJ
Khaled?
No.
What is he
What do you
on?
mean did I see him? When?
He's just been all over social media lately. He's making the rounds.
Have you seen that clip of his wife working out and him like trying to motivate her and her telling him to shut the fuck up?
She's going through it.
This is not your social media. I do not care what you say. Get out of my face.
Blessings. You're blessed.
Yeah,
He's like,
like,
shut the fuck
let's
up.
go,
I'm
baby.
dying.
Come
Yeah.
on, you good, girl.
Yes.
Keep it moving. She's like, would you shut the fuck up?
Look what God
Leave
did for
me
you.
alone.
Bitch, I'm going through it on the Stairmaster right now. Like, I'm putting in this work. You're blessed. Stay up.
Yeah, right.
Stay winning. No.
Yeah, leave me alone.
Getting off of this thing.
Any more mailbag questions?
Oh, we have one more. Cordell says, what's up?
What up, Cordell?
Let's see. All right.
Hey, this is Coach.
Oh, we get at the buzzer. We're going to call first.
Have a take, don't suck.
Yeah,
What's your name? Where you calling from?
Want to ask? I'm getting a dental implant. I want to see what I got in for me.
Are you at Johnson Spillers first?
No, I live on the North Shore.
Don't tell who. Don't say who it is.
He doesn't live here.
Good luck, bro.
Is that the drill?
Is that the drill?
Stop. It is not.
Did you hear that?
I don't think that was.
Did you hang up on him?
No.
I don't think that was the drill.
If you're getting a tooth implant, you're in first for a long day. Because that's the part. I mean, it's a long procedure. You're 2.5 hours in the chair. I took 6 shots to the gum to get my tooth replaced. I guess that would be a what do they call it? A tooth. What did I have done? The tooth
implant.
To put the implant in, they gave me 6 shots to my gum over the tooth, and mine was on the front. So, I mean, look, man, Johnson Spillers, I love Chad Spillers. He's a great friend, and he's a great dentist. He's fantastic at what he does. Getting a tooth implant sucks.
It does suck.
I don't know if there's,
Anything in your mouth like that sucks when you have to
I
have
agree.
it propped open for that long.
I agree. Did old boy die on the other end of that call? Did somebody chop his head off?
I think the old
Was
dentist
that
was
assault?
like, bro, get in the
He
chair.
fell from the chair.
I don't know. People ask.
You got his number?
Yeah.
Call him
Call him
back.
back.
Call him back for sure. Call him back.
That poor guy.
What if he just got whisked away? I mean, there's no more nervous tension than right before this.
I definitely would take all of the gas all of the laughing gas. I would definitely
Would you
take.
go under?
Yes.
Aesthetic?
Absolutely.
Yo,
bro. We lost you there. What was your name again?
Mike.
Mike. Okay. Are you in the chair right now, Mike?
No, man, it's happening in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks.
All right. You got time to get
Nice
yourself
little gear
out of
up.
this.
Nice little gear up. Nice little gear up here, Mike. So you're getting.
I wish, man. I got
a tooth implant.
I got an infection. Yeah, I got an infection, and they got to take the tooth out in order to.
You've
to
been,
fix the
you've been
infection.
packing those upper lippers?
Oh, bitch. Man. Where at in the mouth?
Right at the front.
It's got the old
tooth
dip lip.
between the front tooth and the incisor.
Oh, wow.
The
Technical term.
A little hangover for you.
Right. So, dude, first off, this is a long day. Make sure to get all your business, clear your schedule for the morning. Do not have anything planned because it's a long procedure. Second of all, take all of the drugs that they offer, whether it's the gas, whether they put you under, whatever it is.
They told me I have to pay extra for the gas. I said that's not a problem.
Yeah, pay extra. Pay extra.
I'll pay it twice.
Yeah, right. I'll double down on this thing. And then, the shots to the gum, the sight of it is the worst part.
The needle's huge.
The needle is huge. The needle is huge.
Holes and stuff.
Yeah, the finger hole. Like it's like brass knuckles.
It is. I hate seeing
It's like
that
a
thing
brass
coming out of
knuckle
you.
shot going in. So
That's how you know it's heavy duty.
I'd close my eyes as the dentist is hovering, just because of what you could catch. You know what I mean? And not infectious, just your eyeballs, what you could see.
Which you can't unsee.
Right. Because I caught a blood squirt coming out of a shot of the gum that I still to this day see. And it's not it's just kind of a slight pinch. But after 3 of them, I mean, you know what I mean? You're shot in the face.
There. You get just a slight pinch.
Really
I did it a lot, bro.
Yeah.
I did it a lot. But I will tell you that the smile is worth it, my boy. That once you go through is this going to be a year-long process for you now?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I've been warned.
Okay, all right. Well, thanks for calling us for the consultation, bro. If we can, hopefully we helped, and thank you for listening.
Get soft
Later.
food, mashed
All right, bro.
potatoes,
Sounds like he's in a
Jello.
rush, like he's in a meeting or something. Like
Maybe he's like,
I think he had to hang up. Yeah, I think he was like,
I clearly ended this call and y'all called me back.
Leave me alone.
Yeah. Oh.
Hunter
Would you rather be
Fournette,
dead?
mailbag, Ohio State or Notre Dame with a 17.5 point spread.
This is where you get into, and it's going to be the first one of the year.
Emotion.
No, I'm going to say this is a teaser territory right now. Get
Yeah,
this
tease
thing
it
down
down.
to 10.
Yeah, 'cause
and
Ohio
then take
State
Ohio
feels like they're
State.
gonna
Yeah.
run, yeah.
But I mean, it's
17.5
It seems
is
like
a
a
lot.
lot. It seems like a lot of points, but still, there is a little. There's a little emotion in there where you want to see Notre Dame lose. Is that fair to say?
I'd like to shut
Just
them up.
Yeah, just because of how they're like
Right.
trying to develop some sort of rivalry with
Well,
LSU.
you started to see the excuse making from the Fiesta Bowl.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, if they're making excuses after that gag job.
We've never even been that close in a big game.
Yeah,
It's
right.
like,
Like, I mean, one of the comments was, at least Marcus only won by 3. Brian used to get beat by 3 touchdowns in those games. Like, bro, losers and winners in this world. You're a loser. You know what I mean? Like, when you're making excuses of how you lose, you're a loser.
Shit, we got one more coming in.
All right, let's answer it. Have a take, don't suck. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yes, sir. You're live. Have a take, don't suck. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jordan Coleman. I'm calling from Dallas.
Wow, first and last name. What up, Jordan? How you doing?
Winners.
I'm doing great, man.
Hit me with your question.
Just calling to say hey.
No, I was calling to say, is it crazy for me to think that Jaden Daniels will just have an amazing season?
No.
No, I don't think so.
I agree.
Because
I don't think that.
personally, him freshman year, it was just 17-2, right?
Mm-hmm.
And with the receivers that we have, there's no way he doesn't have a great season.
Look, that's an easy theory to buy into because this is the best team that Jaden Daniels has ever played around, right? Played with. You mentioned the playmakers and the guys around him. And one thing that he has improved vastly on between the spring session and between fall camp has been his accuracy. And it doesn't take a game breaker to play quarterback at LSU in 2022. Like, it doesn't you don't have to be Burrow. You don't have to be this guy. And not that we'll ever see Burrow again. I don't want to use that as a comparison. I'm just saying somebody that can win you, 11 games from that position. If you just get the ball to the playmakers around you and not give it away, you should be able to hold that spot. And if Jaden Daniels can accurately throw the football and move it around, his athleticism is what got him to the field. His ability to be mobile is why he's there. If he can refine the quarterback stuff, getting rid of the ball on time, getting it on time, on target, there's no reason why he shouldn't, like you say, have a really good year. And I don't think it's that tough to buy into. We're just going by what the coaches are saying of that the competition is very close and that it feels like they want to play both of them. But no, I don't think that it's outside the realm of possibility for one of these guys to catch on stick and have a really good year.
Well, one more thing. Can we expect a lot of – I know Brian Kelly doesn't necessarily run RPO, but can we expect that from this offense with him being so mobile and us being down on running backs this year?
Oh, I definitely think, Jordan, that this offense is going to be heavy RPO. I mean, just by the limited practice that we were able to see in the practice that was going on out there, the RPO stuff is probably going to be the identity of this team from an offensive standpoint. And get the ball out of your hand quick to these wide receivers, give the quarterback an option to be a playmaker, I think is how you go. I appreciate you listening over in Dallas, and thanks for calling, Jordan.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have a great day.
Yes, sir. Is we ringing?
Yep, I'm gonna give him a shout back.
Okay.
We call her right back.
I think that today you don't get that charm
Absolutely.
anymore.
I love that.
Absolutely.
We're sweet.
I like the live ring. Yeah.
Me too.
Love the live ring.
This is the Culotta Show
Oh,
calling
he's
you
on a
back.
blinker.
Oh, it's Walter Nolan.
He's in attorney lane. Have a take, don't suck. We missed your call. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Keith from Dallas.
Keith from Dallas. All right,
okay.
Dallas. We moving this
Dallas,
morning in the
yeah.
Metroplex.
Love it.
What's happening, Keith? What's on your mind?
Hey, my man. I just want to check with you guys, see what you thought about this. So, just like you, my man, I seen maybe 2-3 quarters of that FSU game versus that high school team, and I'm thinking our D-line with the deep rotation, we're going to take away the run. Our linebackers are going to fill the gaps. So my question is, what looks do you anticipate Matt throwing at the quarterback to take away those throwing lanes? I know they have the 6'7", 6'5" receiver, but we have 6'2" DBs who can run with them, run hip to hip, and challenge the deep balls that they're going to try to throw at us. So what looks are you thinking he's going to throw at him?
Thank you for listening first and foremost over there, man. And thank you for calling in.
Make the turn.
Maybe he's at a red light.
But I expect Matt, you're talking about Matt House, the LSU defensive coordinator, and I expect him to be multiple this weekend. I really do. And I know that's not a cop-out. I think that you'll see both a 4-3 and 3-4 look. And I think it's because of the versatility of guys like BJ Ojulari, who's had a really good offseason, and we've seen in spring that they're going to move him around and try to play him in some space, as well as, you got to stick to his strong suit, right? You got to stand him up and bring him off the edge and let him get to the quarterback. But players like that, like BJ Ojulari and guys like why can't I think of Harold Perkins, the stellar true freshman that you got to find a way to get him on the field. Even guys like Mekhi Wingo, who transferred in, that can play in multiple sets. I mean, they've got guys. Sure, they've got the Jacoby and Guillory's and some of the guys that really look like certain technical type players. But they've also got a lot of hybrids out there. And to go along with what you're saying and matching up with Florida State's big wide receiver, the big 6'8" transfer from, I believe, TCU, who transferred in, LSU could put two cornerbacks on the field at the same time in Mekhi Gardner and Colby Richardson that are very they don't look the part. They don't look like your routine cornerbacks. They're so long and big. I mean, they're so tall. So I think that LSU will have, kind of a matchup remedy for Florida State's big wideouts. And I'm with you. I watched that game, and even, the matchup of LSU's DBs on their wideouts, I just don't see it. But moreover, the LSU defensive line against Florida State's offensive line. I know they had 3 guys go over 100 yards rushing on Saturday, which is a really cool feat for a college team to do, especially at a place like Florida State that's pumped out so many good running backs. The first time for that to ever happen in the program's history is cool. That ain't happening on Sunday versus LSU, though. I mean, I got news for that they're not going to be able to push people around like that. In fact, I would imagine that Florida State's offensive line is going to be on roller skates for 3 hours. I mean, LSU's defensive line is going to kind of be able to put them wherever they want them.
God, if they get in that mode,
I'm telling you,
wherever
man,
LSU is pushing them around like that, and then you have
it'll feel like 07 up in this bitch.
Yeah, you have that quarterback kind of trying to run around. You have Harold Perkins spying him, and it's just like, oh, LSU's coming from all angles. Like this is what like people are terrified of, seeing athletes at every level. Where it's like, oh, he's your middle linebacker's faster than my quarterback.
Well, I think they're going to put BJ Ojulari in some spots this year where you're going to be like, oh my God,
he's hunting him.
He's 25 yards down the field.
Yeah,
he's covering people. You know what I mean? Like, or the next down, you know what I mean? He's TFLing you.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's behind the line of scrimmage. I mean, he's just I think that House is going to really unleash these types of players. You know what I mean? I keep hearing the name Greg Penn, though. I'm telling you. You know what I mean? I keep hearing at linebacker that Greg Penn has had a phenomenal fall camp and that he is going to really have a instant impact on this season come Sunday night. But I think defensively, just to answer your question, I think they're going to be multiple. I think to clog some of those passing lanes, I think that they'll be able to create a push with 4. I think that they'll be able to create pushes with, Mason Smith, Jaquelin Roy on the inside, B.J. Ojulari, and Ali Gay on the outside. I mean, I really do. I think that they can kind of get there just with those 4 guys. But if they want, you've got options to blitz guys off the edge, like a Harold Perkins, like a Greg Brooks who we saw come in here, Sage Ryan from the nickel, who they don't feel very secure with in coverage, but they love his athleticism. To throw him in there and blitz him on a second and long or a passing situation, just get him back there and see if he can't make a play in the backfield. I can't wait to see how they use a lot of these guys, but more intently BJ Ojulari, just because of the stuff that we saw in spring and fall and kind of how they were experimenting with him. If you remember Josh Allen, the linebacker at Kentucky. Who plays for Jacksonville now, I continually heard the comps of, and not just because House has now coached both of them. He coached Josh Allen at Kentucky. But BJ has a very similar skill set to where he's always around the ball. Like if you watch LSU play, you realize real quick, like 8 on defense for LSU is just, he's always there. 18 now, but throughout his first 2 years, he's always around the ball. If you watch Jacksonville play, Josh Allen is always around the ball. And I think for guys like that who can run, tackle, get to spots, there's certain ways that you can play them. So I can't wait to see how House uses BJ, but I think it will be out of multiple sets, 4-3, 3-4 looks. Any more?
We have one more. Oh, we just got a call.
Call him back.
Call him back. Pick him up.
Pick him up.
Jordy.
How we doing, sir?
Hey, how we doing?
What's up, Lloyd? Hey, this is Barrett up in Shreveport.
All right. What's up,
Barrett
Barrett?
Pepper? Yes, sir.
That's my guy. That's my guy. I forgot what game it was, but we talked before football game. Auburn?
Yeah, that was Arkansas.
Arkansas.
You and your brother. Yep.
Yes. Sean doesn't remember, but
I do. My question for today is, I know we got out of camp with hardly any injuries.
Yeah.
And y'all went to practice a good bit, so I was just wondering, are we really good on tackling? Because I know those running backs are really hard to bring down. So I was just wondering if we had a lot of full contact practices, and is tackling going to be an issue this week?
No, I don't think it is going to be. I think that their scrimmages were live. I think that Brian Kelly was asked about that yesterday or on Monday about just how healthy the team is. And look, he mentioned it, and I got to imagine from a coach's standpoint, it's got to make you a little nervous, throughout this week that you've been so healthy. And like he said, there's still a week left, and he kind of looked around to knock on some wood, but they are by far the most healthy coming out of training camp that any other team that he's been with, according to his memory. And he's been doing it for 33 years, and there is something to that. I think that the way that LSU really paid attention to the nutrition and to the weight program in the offseason, that department, those departments are getting a lot of credit for that. And, rightfully so, because of all of the buy-in that we've heard from, from Brian Kelly and from the team on that aspect of the program. So, I think that there's a lot of things that go into it. But I do believe that through the first couple of weeks, there is an adjustment to live play and tackling. But I think that LSU is going to be ready for that because they've gone live and, they've gone full contact, and it's not as if they've shied away from it. They've just been physically prepared to do it, and you got to have a little luck in that. Football's, you got to have luck. The way that Trevor Penning got hurt, that's just bad luck, man. He's standing somebody straight up. Somebody just comes and rolls up behind him and jams his foot up. So you got to have some luck on it, and LSU's been lucky up to this point. Let's go to the phone lines. Have a take, don't suck. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
BP. Hold on, we just missed him. It was right on the fringe. I don't want to be rude. I'm not a big rude hang-up guy.
Yeah.
I like to get the, hey, how you doing? All right, thank you.
Hello.
Have a take, don't suck. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Jeff and Ken or Jordy. How you doing, my brother?
All right, Jeff. How we doing, buddy?
Hey, man, you know what, Jordy? Thank you to you and JD earlier slamming the national media for being so absolutely uninformed. It's embarrassing to listen to some of these guys nationally, LSU and the Saints. It's just, it infuriates me as an ex-journalist and as a huge sports fan. So kudos to y'all for throwing them under the bus a little bit. But now I got a question. I don't know if y'all have talked about it yet, but here's the question. Final score, LSU FSU. I'm going to go on record, 31-17. Now I'm going to ask each of you to give me your predictions.
Appreciate it, Jeff. Thank you for calling. Thank you for always listening and interacting with us, man. We appreciate that very much. 31-17 feels about right. I'd go somewhere 28-14, somewhere around there, a 2-score, 3-score game where LSU is clearly in control of it. Again, I speak with this confidence because of LSU's defensive line. I think that Florida State will be handcuffed offensively because of just how dominant LSU is on that side of the ball and on the line of scrimmage. So, I like that 31-17, 28-14 type of difference. I think that LSU is a 3-score better team than LSU, and our friends over at Caesars, again, giving away money to you. Just hit that no QR code today. Just go download the Caesars Sportsbook app and use the promo code JCLSU15. JCLSU15. Today's the last day on that. Today's the last day to enter to win for 4 tickets. So JCL. Whoa, that doesn't look good.
What? Oh man, our internet.
Did we just zap?
It might be a good thing. How come I don't see that?
That is weird.
All right, we appreciate everybody interacting. We're getting the hell out of here. We're getting the hell out of here before anything crazy happens. Hit the like and share button, comment button. We appreciate you being there with us today. Hopefully we can get this internet fixed up around the hood here and get everything back on schedule over here at FM Digital Media.
This could be good.
We'll be back. Thank you. Hit that like and share button. Brought to you daily by Go Chevrolet.
28-21.
Joe said they're working down the street. AT&T.
Let's go. All right, back to your regular scheduled programming. Mike Norvell, holler at us.